Hey everyone, Arsenal Fan Circle here. It is Ray, your host, the host that's always a little bit late, but thanks for hanging in there, everyone. And Gary's with me tonight. Hopefully, we're going to have a few others, Tony joining, and Alonso also. But yeah, how you been, Gary?
I'm good. I'm good.
So
Yeah.
we're getting toward the end of the season, and are you looking forward to the end, or you want more?
I want more, but I know we need to reset. So I'm happy to see the end come so that we can reset. But I would like to see more football. But we need this time, and hopefully they use it wisely. That's going to be the trick.
Yeah, listen, it's a really, really big summer. I think the last few seasons we've been saying that, Gary. It's just been every window now is important for us. So, Darren, thanks for joining earlier. Stefan's here. Thanks for joining, Stefan. Um, and of course, thanks, Gary, for covering for me a little bit. Hello, chat room. Um, Stephen, thanks for joining. And Gary, what was really, really nice was you could see some comments earlier in the day. People were anticipating this live stream, and that's always a good thing. It knows that we're doing some small thing right here in this community, and I want to give special thanks to you and all of the others that have come on the podcast with us, with me throughout the season, and long may it continue. And of course, you're calling me out now for being a little bit late.
I mean, we got the link last night. All right, so I figured, all right, so he's good to go. He's got the logo out, ready to go. It'd be on time. I'm in the back room waiting by myself. So I said, you know what? Let me come into the chat room and talk to who's out there and see. But yeah, it wouldn't be Arsenal fan circle if we started on time. I think
Yeah,
we'll
there's
probably lose.
always the takeoff. The takeoff and landings. They're never on time here. So Stefan said Ray should really put the time in as being 2 a.m. Then he wouldn't be late ever again. Stephen, I hope you're still with us. Um, yeah, we got the Euros coming up soon, so football isn't going away, and it's just going to continue.
I mean,
Good evening, Stan.
everything I hear from everybody is Euros is coming, but I don't like watching international football. One because England is terribly run. I don't think they have a terrible team, terribly run, and it makes it disappointing to watch them go out there and fail over and over and over again. I mean, it's like the U.S. team over here. I don't think they're as bad as they've been, but they've been coached and they just don't have a team. I mean, it's almost like Arsenal. I don't know.
I was just going to say that, Gary. I was just
We
going
have
to
good
say that.
talented players. We just never execute and never get anything. Never get the wins you're supposed to get. Come up short too often. Wow.
Listen, Gary, listen, we'll get into what's going to happen at the weekend as well. And we're still, there's this divide between the fans. Are we still interested in the season? I'm going to take whatever can be salvaged from this season. And for me, that's going to be jumping over Tottenham and knocking them down a peg or two, knocking them out of European football. And, whatever it is for us, I think we need European football for the youth players that are going to come through.
No, for sure. I mean, that's the only reason why we have some of the players we have now, right? It's because of that that European league that we played in, right? I mean, Saka probably wouldn't be here. Gabby Martinelli wouldn't be here.
Martinelli.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we should have more, right? But we never played them. I mean, the Nelsons and the Willocks basically showed that they can play football. They didn't get to express themselves this year. But yeah, no, I think we need it because Arteta does not know how to, as we've said multiple times, manage the team. Right? He's got a squad of talented players. He doesn't manage them well, so then he basically wastes their talents. Some aren't even. Some of them he loaned away, and we could use them. Right? So
Yeah. We're
it's uh,
going
it's a mismanagement, which is creating the situation we're in right now.
So listen, I'm going to preview for everyone who's watching, and listen, share the link. We're going to get more and more people in the longer we talk here. Alonso's at work; he's going to join us. Tony had to take care of a medical issue, so hopefully he's going to be able to join us a little bit later, and we'll get the conversation flowing. But things we want to talk about today is that obviously the league table. We can jump over a couple of teams. West Ham, I want to say fair play to West Ham. They've had a great season and they deserve to be in the Europa League. The minimum we deserve is that dreaded Europa Conference League, which sort of rewards mediocrity, Gary. And we are a mediocre team right now. But like I said, we do need to keep our young players involved and develop them in that competition.
Yeah, I mean we do, but we have I think talented players that can play. So I don't. I see the point. We need to build them, but the depth would instead of playing whatever 15, 16 players, maybe you have to play 20 players in a season. Consistently. That's it's just a management of players, right? So some of them we've got at least 10 players we don't need, right? It'd be
Mm,
easy. All
yeah,
right. There's like 10 players we could lose right now, and
it could be
nobody's going to
replaced
bat an
by
eye. We're not,
better.
and there's probably about 4 or 5 positions and spots that we can fill and be satisfied and have a good team. Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
We need a starting 11. So until we get that, all of this is for naught, right? Nothing good's going to happen unless we can find a starting 11 that can compete with anybody.
Okay,
You
so listen, let's get into the game. We're going to talk about that Loney is doing really really well at Newcastle. He's doing so well that we want him back. I think I always wanted him back, but I think there's going to be a big decision needed with Joe Willock this summer. Well, let's get into the team lineup. What do you think of the team lineup? We had obviously the centre backs of Holding and Gabriel. Outside of that, Kieran Tierney and Chambers as your fullbacks, and then Elneny, Partey, Emil Smith Rowe, Saka on the left, Pepe on the right, and Aubameyang. I thought that was a really really strong lineup to go and get the 3 points, and I was confident well before the hour before kickoff. I was confident we were going to get 3 points, but it turned out to be a frustrating day at the end of it as well. But Holding, Gabriel, Gary.
Holding and Gabriel. Well, we know that pairing does not work because they are they're two contrasting players in the style that they play as a center back. Gabriel wants to kind of move up the field, and Holding doesn't. I mean, they're just you've got two, as they say, two peas in a pod or whatever it is, and they just don't play well together. I don't think they play well together.
No,
Uh,
they don't
and
complement each other.
I'm always scared of what Holding's going to do. Gabriel, the reason he makes mistakes, but they're effort mistakes where he's trying to do too much sometimes. Holding
Yeah,
doesn't do anything, doesn't do enough. So that's where, and that's why they kind of don't complement each other. Because if Gabriel goes out and tries to do something that he feels positive, Holding does not back him up. He doesn't back
yeah. I
him up,
think
and then they get they kind of that's when the defense breaks down when you see stuff like that.
we have
Uh,
seen throughout the season that Holding's best partner is Pablo Marie at the back.
we say it again.
Holding's best partner is Pablo Marie at the back.
Yeah, because
Best central defense.
they complement each other, right? They're not. That's our team needs the Gabriel Luis type center backs because right now we don't have the midfield, right? So get a bit proper midfield, maybe things will change and it will work fine with a Marie Holding center back pairing, right? At least in my eyes. But I feel like but Gabriel is the better talent. He just needs more game time, right? So you need another player similar to him, and that's isn't that Saliba, right? To some degree, they kind of
Yeah,
will complement each other. They actually will try to move the ball up the field. They're good with the ball at their feet, right? To some degree. I mean, I think Saliba's better, but they will make mistakes, which we're making mistakes with our manager and coach. So, and everybody seems to be okay with that. So why not the players as well, right? At least when the players will give us more, right? With their talent.
yeah.
I mean, I guess before, I don't know if you wanted. I saw you put up Stan's thing about 11 players that he'd been. There's like six. There's 6 players that I want to keep. All right, there's only
Yeah,
6.
it's
Everybody
easier to
else,
say.
everybody else, we can move and improve. Right, if they left, everybody else, So I mean, so we should start with those 6 players. And if you don't know who they are, you got Saka, Emil Fro, you got Pepe, you got Martinelli, and you got Gabriel. Oh, Tierney and Partey. So 7. Sorry, you got 7 players that are should be the core of this team. Everybody else is filling spots or bench player, right? That's it, really. Until we get the starting, you need about 4 or 5 players. Hey there, Scott.
So we got Scott in the house, we got Stan in the house, and we got
Yeah.
Taib. So thanks
Yeah.
everyone for joining in. I know it is a late hour over there in the UK,
Yeah.
but we do seem to get that core group of dedicated viewers here, Gary.
Yeah, Scott, I think he came on because he wanted to see if we had the punch option like he does in his show, so he can kind of punch my lights out. Sorry, Scott, we're not up there yet.
We just do this. I've seen that. It's nice stuff, Scott. So go check out his stuff, over there. Listen, it would be remiss of us to not mention the crowd, and really nice to see football, Gary, with fans, actual fans, the soul of the game back at the stadiums, and it's highlighting what we've missed over the last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think their fans kept them in the game, right? Because we were dominating the game as far as possession goes, but they still had something to fight for because they had fans in the stands cheering them on, right? And they were able to get something out of it. And I guess, and it was also nice that we got to shut them up as well, right? So that was a nice thing.
I will get into that in a little bit, especially on the first goal, because I think the crowd well, there was a few things with the officiating and VAR, which so frustrating. Ty said, "Can you butt head Arteta?" So
he's gonna hurt himself. we don't call him Lego head for nothing. I mean, that thing's solid.
Chambers and Elneny both are very decent squad players. So I think when all the dust has settled from this season, we will definitely get into talking about David Luiz, Willian, who's rumored to leave. But yeah, it was really great to have the crowds in, and it gave a lot of atmosphere to the game. And obviously, a quick word for Roy Hodgson. He's been a great servant to Crystal Palace, his boyhood club, and he's proved that he very, very good manager who has managed at the highest level internationally and also handling teams in different leagues, the Swiss league and I think Scandinavian teams as well. So Roy Hodgson has been a great servant to the game.
Yeah, no, that team is a little scary, man, with the 3 players they had up top when they're healthy and when they're clicking, if you're able to stop them, that's a good thing. But we're lucky we didn't get to play with Eze, on Wednesday. So
as
Wednesday, right?
Mark said here, Saliba averages 74 passes per match at a 91% completion in League One, past 5. These are numbers that Arteta must not and cannot ignore. Yep. If Ray had butted Arteta, the manager's hair would still be in place.
Ray's hair would turn into that. I think that's the way it works.
I agree with you, Ty. We really should have. Saliba should have kicked the ball in anger for Arsenal at this point in time. We're 2 seasons. He's been our player for 2 seasons now, and he really should have started last season. This season, Gary, when we look back at it, it will have been a missed opportunity for me. Could have introduced a lot more of the younger players. A lot more players could have been introduced into the team, and I think there would have been a lot more latitude and forgiveness for Arteta as well for what happens.
Yeah, I mean, if you could see a plan with players that are part of the future, definitely. But we're not seeing much in the way of a future with a lot of these players, right? A lot of these players we think should have been gone anyways, and the players that should be part of the future, some of them aren't even here playing. So, but yeah, it's definitely a season of missed opportunities. I mean, you go into it, the first 15 games of the season. You go in some of the players that we see on the bench or not even on the team sheet some days. Um, Missed opportunities with shots, with our defensive. I mean, everything. Yeah. So season of missed opportunities, I think, is the how you would probably explain this one. And then, uh, you know, uh, experience. Yeah.
Definitely. Little question here. We're going to get into it in the course of this podcast, but I'll go to you, Gary. I think, well, if Tybe doesn't know, he's going to know very soon what I think of Pepe. But what do you think of Pepe so far, Gary?
I believe we have misused Pepe. I mean, the little bits of brilliance that we see from him, that magic dust that he can sprinkle out. You call it Pepe magic dust.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much of it. At least we don't see much of it. But when he does sprinkle it, good things always happen. I mean, he's every time. I mean, how many of his goals did you just go, yeah? It's just a regular goal from Pep. No, he doesn't do that. It's always magic when he shoots and scores, right?
Yeah.
From distance with the wrong foot, you know, making, just in the middle of a mess like he did, over the weekend, or a nice little volley, as the ball's coming through. I mean, everything he does, it's got to, you got to have your camera ready to take a picture because it's always something special. And that's what you got from him. So I feel like we misused him. We sat him too much. But he's a player that creates magic out of nothing. And he does that every time he plays. I mean, you look at his stats. He is one of our, if not our best offensive player, right? I mean, yes, God, our Aubameyang and Lacazette are, the higher scorers, but I don't think they can't do the things he does. He's actually improved from the previous season, so he's getting better at being an all-around footballer as opposed to just being somebody on the ball with space that can do some damage. So I like that part about what he's done this season, and since he's done that, I expected him to get more confidence. Be more confident. The manager, I think, should get more confidence in him that he can actually do what he needs because he's actually doing a lot more than he was doing before. Which you're gonna have to praise Arteta for that. Because he wasn't doing it before. But I think some of what he's doing now has to do, I think, with the youth who probably haven't been tainted by anything in the past in terms of the way that they play. They play 100% all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That means with or without the ball, and that's the thing that Pepe wasn't doing. Right, he wasn't without the ball. He was just basically a lazy player.
I think Pepe is benefiting from the younger players as well around him. We saw Saka, he was doing great things for us, but he struggled in the team up until that famous date of December 26th that most Arsenal fans, including myself, will point to. You know what I mean? It is just a point in the season. It's not the beginning of the season. It was mid-season when we were already struggling, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Tybe, if you want to go back into the history here, I actually did a video on Pepe. I wanted him 8 months before we actually signed him. I wanted us to go out and get him in that January window. So I've always been a fan of Pepe. I've struggled trying to support him as Pepe struggled with Emery, and Pepe struggled with Arteta for large parts of his time here. But I do think it's starting to get there now. I think Pepe is starting to unlock what he has inside of him, and I do think that Arteta has helped Pepe to do that. I also think the magic dust, Gary, that we see from Pepe. I've said this to Sam before. You're going to see it about 30 times a season. It could be an assist, it could be a goal. He's going to hopefully give us 15 goals and maybe 15 assists as he gets better. But they're going to give you 3 or 4 seconds of joy each game. The rest of the game, he's going to go and be a frustrating player because he's got all the tools in his locker, but he's not going to do it every time he gets the ball at his feet. And I always say he's been a little bit like Ozil, but has end product. He's frustrating at times, but he's starting to show now the end product. So, with Pepe, any final words before we move on?
No, I mean I like him. he needs to get the same treatment as some of our other players who aren't as talented. And you know who I'm talking about? The sons of Arteta. You
Yeah.
know, they haven't been getting that much love lately, but he needs to get like all of his players should feel like he treats them the same, right? They don't always get treated the same, but they should feel like what, I'm getting what I need from the manager, and I
Mhm.
don't think he was getting that. But he's performing all the time when he's on the field. If he's out there for 90 minutes, you usually don't come away and go, you know what, he gave me nothing. I got nothing. No, he usually gives us something. I believe. I don't know how many games
Yeah.
he's played where he's come out of it and we went, he didn't give me a goal or an assist or something like that, but I think he's good for that every game. And right now we need that. I think you give him more touches, good things will happen. I don't think he gets enough. That's because of our structure right now. We just don't have the right players to do that.
Yeah.
But when he gets it, I feel like every 90 minutes you're going to get something good from him. So
Yeah, his stats are actually every 142 minutes. There's a goal involvement for him. 142 minutes. That's not bad.
okay,
One every one involvement every other game, or something like that. 46 games he's had this season, 14 goals and 6 assists. So
well,
just under half of those games he's had a positive involvement
yeah,
in the game. So
oh,
definitely something that's going forward. Well, something I wanted to mention as well. Shout out to Mahir. It was his birthday on the 17th of May, so I want to
oh,
just
yeah, happy
recognize that
birthday,
for Mahir. Happy birthday!
meep,
He's
meep.
one of the young pups. Arsenal could have been better if they didn't concede as many silly goals this season, and we're probably gonna dedicate a whole podcast to that, Stefan,
Yeah,
this season because
yeah.
there's going to be lots to go. Norma's here. Thanks for joining. Hi, there's bigger fish to fry than Arsenal for me. Free Mo, cancelling someone ruthlessly despite being with AFTV for 7 years is bad. I will stop watching AFTV and watching channels like ours over here. So appreciate that, Norma.
Yeah, and I think some of
Um,
those decisions are when what used to be a lot of fun turns into a business, right? Turns into work, and you don't, and that's what we see on the field, right? We see players who don't want to lose that paycheck, so they're going to do just enough to keep that paycheck, but they're not going to give us everything they used to, right? So I
yeah.
feel like it's a similar thing there.
Yeah, I mean, do what you love, and this is a hobby for us. We're coming on here twice a week, Gary, and we're enjoying what we're doing, even if Arsenal are bad. I'm all about chronicling Arsenal, and like you said, it's your catchphrase, Gary. Life is a journey. You got to enjoy the ride, and Arsenal is definitely a ride. We're probably on the downward. We're probably when we were in that relegation zone, Gary. We were probably the. I hope it was the lowest point for us, and we're going to slowly be moving forward from there on. You
And what's
know.
funny is we've been so far away from that, but it still feels painful, right? I mean, we talk about all the things in between that being 15th to where we are now, and we're still pained, right? So yeah, we
Because
got a long way to go to get rid of that stink, as they call it, from being at 15th
our
and struggling.
our recent memory, I mean, it might go back 17 years for some of us, but our recent memory is we were the top dogs at the table, and now we have to have a little bit of humility about us. As
Yeah,
Tybe says here, a 20 plus striker needed.
yeah,
Aubameyang didn't quite hit those heights. Lacazette didn't quite get there either. Um, Even if we share 15 goals across our forwards, that would be a plus. And Tybe,
yeah.
we are probably Gary. We're not going to get into 50 goals scored this season,
That's crazy, and we have enough talent to do that. I mean, what was it?
or
I was
maybe we
listening
have
to.
50. We're not going to get into
Yeah.
60. I'm
I was
sorry.
listening to like Highbury Squad, and Kevin Campbell was talking about we are like 8 goals away from where we want to be. We're not
Mhm.
even. You're talking probably like what more than 10, but I think we're 8 goals away. But then you also can look at it and say we've probably created maybe 5 or 6 goals for our opponents. Things that
Yeah,
we shouldn't be doing, right? I
gifts that we
mean,
handed out, and we
yes.
were good that we didn't hand out too many gifts yesterday, despite the officials trying to help them. And we're going to get into preview on
Uh,
that very soon.
we can't beat VAR. We figured that out.
And Bivar. Miss Molina, thanks for joining. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Granny Norma. And let's get through a few comments here.
Granny Norman's always in the house, isn't it?
People need to put more respect on Pepe's name. I think he's starting to find his full potential and show his worth.
Yeah.
Especially that those 2 goals, Gary. Uh, Good players can score goals like that. You know, make it
And
look easy.
yeah, and I don't know. Did he see that from what Millsworth Road did? Because Millsworth Road did that earlier, right? A couple of games ago. So he's learning a little bit from the kids. At least
Yeah,
knowing that you put yourself in situations, you'll be fine. But yeah, I've always said that when the team should have been able to come out and talk about Pepe as a footballer and not as a 72 million dollar footballer, because that's what everybody talks about. And they should have said, you know what, the talent is there. I can't. He has nothing to do with a seventy-two
doesn't have
million dollar
anything to do with it.
contract, right?
Yeah,
But he does have a talented
can't
player, and
control that.
he's gonna get the best out of him, which he didn't see, and that's the problem. But that's for another discussion. But yeah, I mean, the team needed to back up their players, and they didn't back him up enough. So yeah,
Thoughts on Willock most likely not returning back to Arsenal. We will get into that a little bit later. We're previewing. Um, you're spot on, Taib.
what is
Okay, so
what?
yeah,
I don't know what that means. Can somebody translate that for me?
which part? Which one?
Taib's comment, because I don't know. I'm finding I'm not.
Find the spirit in their head. What do you mean?
Yeah, what does that mean? I need somebody to translate that for me.
Buendia is the player now that's in the headlines right now.
Yep.
Norma said if Arsenal was smart, they would sell Willock for all of his worth, but with a buyback clause if he becomes good. With that money, sign Camavinga and Odegaard on another loan with obligation to buy.
Yeah, I don't think the Camavinga thing's going to happen, because I think, like most things,
Lombard Camp, thanks for joining.
I don't think. I think the problem we have is that we've what do you call it? We've missed opportunities to secure players like that. The fact that the Conference League isn't really going to pull players, so I think that's going to be a little tough one to get him in. But Arteta's been able to sell other players on it, so maybe he has that pull again. I personally just think we need to, Buendia would be nice, and if we, I don't know, Buendia versus Erdiger, what would you? I mean, I'd rather take Buendia, because at least he's played in the league, he's on an upturn, and he is young. He's a little older than, he's a little older than Martin, right, by 2 years. But I think right now we need that age profile. We need those players in their mid-20s that are actually on their are trending upwards, as opposed to somebody like Erdegaard, who's 22 and still he's not there yet. We want to build him. A loan would be perfect for him, with an obligation to buy, or else forget it, right? Because we don't really want to put that much money into it. I mean, that injury set him back, but that could happen again. Is that a warning? Is that a warning sign? And
I put a tweet out earlier, a poll, but wanted to know if which kind of player would be more valuable in the transfer market, which would cost more, a goal scoring midfielder or a creative midfielder. Gary, what do you think?
What would cost more?
Yeah, which type of player is more valuable in the market right now? A creative midfielder who's going to create for others, or a midfielder who can actually score goals? I want to sort of balance Willock against Buendia.
Yeah. See, the problem I have with all of this is the Arteta factor, because he had Willock and he didn't use him. But maybe Wendy is a player he wants, so he's going to actually put him in and actually use him. And I think that's what's happened, right? Any player that he's brought in, he's bent over backwards for that player. So that means he likes them. Players that he has in here, he hasn't actually utilized to the fullest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's he's got good players here. He couldn't figure out a way to get the best out of them. And if that's the case, and that's the way it's going to be, then yeah, Willicks probably needs to go because he didn't get the best out of him when he was here, and I feel like
That's
it would be like Emil Swift-Rowe, no, sorry, Amesley, right? Niles, where he, you know, didn't sell him and couldn't figure out how to use him.
Lombard Camp wants to send Odegaard and definitely Ceballos going back to Madrid. Get Buendia in, Basuma, bring back Willock. I'm in favor of all that. But maybe Ainsley Maitland-Niles, his number is up. Gary, I don't know what you think.
If I, it's the Arteta factor. Do those players not have the talent to play in this league? I mean, Willock just broke a record. He just broke a record, and you can't say, all right, you know what? It's Newcastle. No, they were playing the best teams in the league when he did it, and you can't say, oh, it's the end of the season, had nothing to play for. They're playing teams that actually were trying to win. Those teams were trying to win. All those teams need to win those games, and he was able to score and actually, do well for them. So, no, I mean, it's the Arteta factor is the reason why we're not seeing the best out of all of our players. I mean, talk about you got to tap your resources until they're dry, right? And if they're dry, then they have to go, right? Willock is a talent, and you need to figure out how to use them with the players you got. But he's got a blueprint, right? I'll tell you about the blueprint. It's written in pen. It doesn't change. And if he can't, this whole square peg in the round hole thing, if it doesn't fit, he just, I can't. Usually, he doesn't want to drill the hole and let the round peg go in.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to make it fit, and that's just
Gary. So we've seen Joe Willock. He scored against Liverpool. He scored against Spurs. He scored against the best teams, the worst teams in the league. Sheffield United, great header in the last day or two. What is it, 6 or 7 goals? I think he scored 6
in a row. Yeah, 6 in a row.
Only two other Newcastle players have done that. I think it was one of them being Alan Shearer. Bearing in mind Buendia, and we're going to be chasing Buendia, and the quoted price will be, 40, 35, 40. What is Willock's true value in that right now, being that he's an English player as well?
I think the way he's playing, Arsenal should be trying to get the most out of him, especially from Newcastle. They have a good player that fits in whatever mold they want, right? Works for them. So it's got to be worth more than it was, when he stepped on the field for the first time. So they need to get, that needs to be maxed out. Whatever maxed out is now in this, COVID days. Oh, look who showed up.
3 amigos.
Hi, Tony. How are you doing?
It's going.
Everything cleared up?
Yep, got my antibiotics.
Oh, nice.
Good. So, what did you get? A spider bite a few weeks ago, and you had some issues with it still.
Yep.
Okay.
And it wasn't the Spider-Man spider either, so that kind of sucked.
Yeah, no superpowers.
No superpowers.
No superpowers involved. So let's get you to jump in here. We've just really been having a general discussion, going with the flow here because it's getting toward the end of the season. Has it been a long season for you, Tony? Do you want it to keep going, or are you happy that it's going to end now?
It's already over in my eyes.
We could knock Tottenham down. We could get into Europe at Tottenham's expense, Tony. So,
Pizza Flu Part 2.
Yeah. Listen, what value of Joe Willock right now, Tony? 6 games in a row he scored. I think he scored 7 goals in all for Newcastle. We sold Iwobi to Everton for 35 million, and a similar fee for the Ox who went to Liverpool. So I think as
40.
And as Lombard Camp says here, if Liverpool were selling Willock, they would easily get 30 million. Also, on the other hand, would ask for 12. What's his true value right now in the market, Tony?
I'd probably say about 25 to 30.
25, 30. Would that interest you? Would 30 million interest you, Tony, to sell him, or do you want him to come back? I do want him to come back.
I like him. I've always liked him. I thought he was great last year until he kind of got worn out. Then the Emery stuff seemed to unsettle him and Guendouzi both. I think he's definitely
I'm
a
gonna
quality
ask.
player. I don't think Arteta gave him enough of a chance like he did with pretty much all the youth. So again, what is his value? If it's 25, 30 million, do you sell him? It depends if Lego Man's play him next year or not. You don't seem to
Okay,
want to play the youth, so it's kind of hard to say.
I want all of you in the chat box to tell me where your line is. Where is the line for Joe Willock that would start getting you interested and maybe thinking about selling him to Newcastle? I'm going to ask that Gary as well.
32.5.
35 for me. I think I would start at 35, but nothing below 35 would probably interest me in selling Willock. I know we have a rebuild, Gary.
Well, yeah, well, you know what? Lumber Camp's comment there is the reason why it's not going to be anywhere close to 30, right? It's because of Arsenal. This Arsenal right now, all their players are devalued. We devalue, and I've said this many times before. We devalue our players. They're worth a lot more than they appear to be most of the time, right? We always sell them for less than they should be. You know, a goalkeeper forget it. Yeah, I don't want to go there, but I don't want to
We
go
know
there.
where you were going to go. A
I-
goalkeeper like that's enough.
But I feel like we devalue our players because we never utilize them. So then, when a team looks up and looks at our players, they don't see anything that's worth anything because one, either we don't play them or we play them incorrectly, so they look terrible out there, right? So then so like Arsenal doesn't want them. Why am I going to spend top dollar for a player Arsenal doesn't actually want? All right. You put Willock out there, he actually showcases his skills. Guess what? Now he's worth something, right? But if you've been watching Arsenal, that they weren't playing him. I mean, he had one game for Arsenal this in the Premier League. One. He's played 13 for Newcastle, scored 7 goals. I mean,
A hell of a return.
That how many goals do we got from midfield?
2, 3. I think
Yeah,
we got a few more now that Emil Smith Rowe started to weigh in.
Yeah, so I guess he's got 2 goals, right? So I guess that's two more, right? So yeah,
More than we had last season. We had 2 last season.
So yeah, I think, like I said,
scored.
I think we devalue our play. So he might be worth 30, 35, 25 to 30, but the Arsenal factor drops it down to about 15 to 25. And in Arsenal, they just jump at anything, right? And they sell, and then like somebody they might sell for 12 just because they're like, oh, that's close to 15, and then they've lost about 10 million on the deal. So yeah, I think that's the Arsenal factor. That's why we don't get
Martinez, Gary.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. No, I'm not gonna. I didn't say it.
He didn't have to. He said the goalkeeper.
Because think about it. Maitland-Niles, right? How much is he worth? He was worth 20, right?
Yeah.
Now he's not worth 20, right?
How does that work? Good attacking midfielder who scores on loan, for goodness sake. Yeah. And look, the idea of sending a player out on loan, Gary, is that the player excels, has a really, really good time, and shows his worth. That he can come back to the parent club and hopefully help them.
Yeah, the scenario should have been Willock cannot find a way onto the squad, so that's why we loaned him out. So then when he finally goes to a team that actually has space for him and he plays and he excels like that, then you're like, see, that's not what happened with Arsenal. We just didn't play him. All right. So the scenario never works for us. So I think that's the case, right? Could he not? He could have played for us. He played for us last season. He helped us get to where we wanted to go in certain games. All right.
Mm-hmm.
This season, nothing. So yeah, I think it's an Arsenal thing.
So Norma, it's great to have you here. Hopefully you stick around with us. You've been here before and you stick with us now. So if Leno leaves, Gary, who would be your ideal replacement be? And I mean, let's sign Emmy back, right, Tony? For me, it would be
He's worth
Donnarumma on a
22.5
free.
to answer Gary's question.
22.5. Who is?
Martinez.
That seems kind of low, doesn't it?
Yep. Seems like it'd be about 30, but
Yeah, that seems kind of low.
Um,
I mean,
Norma is not
replacing-
really Brownie. Brownie's hiding right now because Brownie's about to lose his bet on Sunday when Arsenal go above Everton.
that's crazy, right? You might get two. You might get to a 2-for-1 in the weekend.
I might.
A Conference League spot, and you win your bet. And trifecta, and the Spuds are behind us, all in one day.
how many box of Lucky Charms and
I mean, I look at it. Listen, we'll get into that in a little bit. Let's get back onto the Crystal
So much to
Palace
talk
game.
about.
Let's get back onto the Crystal Palace game. So, Tony, your initial thoughts on the lineup?
pretty much what I expected.
All right, you
No real-
expected Gabriel and Holding together?
Yeah, no real surprises. You don't know who he's put back there in the back four. It's hodgepodge.
Gary, I thought we started pretty well. That we talked about the crowd being back. It was good to have fans back in the stadium. It did make an atmosphere, and they started to. There was an incident, I think, in the 11th minute, a challenge on Tierney. That
What stadium was it at?
Selhurst Park, a challenge on Tierney that looked to me like a foul in the penalty box. Gary,
Was that the first one though? I thought it was
No,
the
not-
second one.
I was the first one in the penalty
No,
box.
I thought it was the second incident.
The second incident. Yes.
Okay, that's the second. All right, just making sure because there were a couple incidents. That was all right. The second. I looked at that so many times and I'm like, "Are you serious? That's allowed?" What? Why did he swing his leg at him?
Mm-hmm.
Why? The ball went out of bounds. It wasn't even like there was a reason for him to swing his leg like that. He fell to the ground. By the time he got up, the ball had hit the backstop and was coming back into play. And then he swung his leg at Tierney. I know it wasn't a hard kick, but it was definitely a kick. All right. And they let that one go. But if you graze somebody's knee or the back of their foot,
David Luiz
and he goes down,
Wanderers,
that gets penalized, right? I mean, this is the consistency that we talk about, right? That they look at that and they let that go, right? And then like the play, you may talk about the play before that, right? The one on is it Chambers, right?
Yeah, early doors. There's a tackle on Chambers
And
right on his ankle.
And I think they looked at that. And if they didn't, then they should have. That's one of the things you're supposed to look at, right? You can't. Is it allowed to step on somebody's foot?
Not
Well, after the
Chambers.
ball's
His
gone?
pretty curly locks. You can't step on Chambers.
I mean, I see, and these are the things that the football teams should be coming together for, because this is what they want. They want those to be consistently penalized if that's the case, right? You step on somebody's foot well after the ball's gone, you should get penalized for that. And it shouldn't be red one day, yellow another day, nothing, on a third day. They should all be consistent. They put rules in there for a reason.
Jeffrey Schlupp on Chambers, yellow card after VAR.
We stepped on his, and we've seen that given red many times.
Yeah. And then we go, as we say, to the 11th minute, the challenge on Tierney. They're fighting to get to the ball, and you can see the competitions in Tierney. Tierney's not a player who's going to back down, so he goes against Ward. Ward does have a kick at him. Really should have been a penalty there at that point. But Gary, at this point in time, the crowd figures out that Tierney's going to be their villain of the piece.
Yeah, and what is it? And supposedly before now I have to go back because I think on the TV they said the reason why Schlupp didn't get a red is because it was too early in the game.
No.
So you can handball early in the game because it's too early. There's no reason you don't want to throw somebody out or call a penalty because it's early. What? It's the timing of the foul shouldn't be a cause for not
Has
being penalized for it,
no
right?
objective. Yeah. Has
So yeah,
no bearing on the game. The timing of the foul, if you do it in the first minute and it's illegal and it's deemed it could be an injury to the player, because Chambers could have been really injured for the rest of
what
the season.
he stepped on his ankle.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if you watch that in VAR land, you're like he almost broke his ankle.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tony, as Stefan said here, there is no consistency because different refs will look at that differently, and I think we have a situation where the referees are kind of covering for each other in terms of the VAR room. They're not going to call out the ref on the field. As
Yeah.
Mark said here, the EPL referees, VAR are a clown show.
Yeah, I think they have to go to the American model of like the NFL and NBA, where they have giant headquarters of refs and have the head of officiating there saying, "Hey, this is what it is. It's a clear foul. This is what it is. This is what the rule is." But VAR's just a hodgepodge of, who gives a fuck? I'm not to downplay what you just did on the field. Referees not to go look at the monitor. It's just they need to scrap it until they figure out what the fuck they're doing.
That step on his ankle was naughty, says Stefan here. Tony, your thoughts on Odegaard? Do you prefer him over Emil Smith Rowe? Actually, I'm a big Emil Smith Rowe fan right now. I know Odegaard will have his situations, and he did win the game for us in terms of that cross for Martinelli. But where do you stand, Tony? Emil Smith Rowe versus Odegaard?
I'm not a versus at all. You put Party as a central defensive mid. You play them as 2 8s, and
Yeah,
you're good to go.
but I'm going to push you on which one do you prefer. You can have both of them in the team, but which one do you prefer over the other?
I prefer Odegaard. I think he's better passing and stuff, but mentality, I like Smith Rowe a little bit better. But if I had to pick one, I'd pick Odegaard.
Two different kinds of players, Gary. Emil Smith Rowe will carry the ball for you. He's got a little bit of pace. He's able to beat a player. Odegaard's able to move players by the way he maneuvers the ball. He's able to position defenders to the lanes that he wants them to move to. We saw that especially in the West Ham game.
Yeah, I mean, who can Emil Smith Rowe make that pass to Martinelli? I don't
Probably
know.
not.
I don't know. I don't think I've seen him do something like that. So they are, like you said, there are two different players that can play. They can play right in front of that, defensive midfielder. They'd be really potent, right? We able to do something like that. So if we had to keep one, I think right now the way we are, it would have to be Emil Smith Rowe, one because he doesn't cost us anything more than Odegaard's going to cost us a lot of money. And he's not there yet. I kind of feel like if we're gonna bring somebody in, it'd be nice to have somebody come in that can play, and we don't have to worry about, vetting them out and stuff like that. But it always comes back to he looks really good now. We sign him, we bring him in, and then Arteta does something weird, right? Until I see
Everything is tinged for you right now with the Arteta effect.
Yeah, because he hasn't shown me that he's gonna do the right thing for some of these plays. I mean, he did. The one thing I guess he did do is that he wanted to play both Emil Smith Rowe and Martin, right? As opposed to and play him out on the wing, and it's like, what? We thought they were going to be able to play off, one or the other,
and at times he's accommodated Emil Smith Rowe on the left-hand side and Odegaard in that central attacking midfield.
Yep. So he did all of that, but then Willock can't get a sniff, right? I mean, and like I said, I think that's because it's not his player, which doesn't make any sense because he is your player, Do
you get a sense, Gary, that Arteta is looking at what Willock is doing in Newcastle and thinking, I need to persevere with Willock next season? and not just give him a few minutes here and there.
I hope he says he made a mistake. I hope he can say I made a mistake and you showed me why. So we're gonna have to play you. I mean, if he said that, I think people would understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I have a feeling he doesn't want to say that because he doesn't want to feel like he's weak or something like that. And you know what? You're not weak. You're just you're inexperienced. That's all. And you're learning you should be learning every day. So every time you have a mistake, you should be building on that, right?
Yep.
And never doing it again, right?
This is my hope for Arteta in this close season, that he looks back. And I think in the pre-game press conference, Tony, he did mention that he had made some mistakes as well. But Angel says here, if we were promised a marquee signing of either Kane, Haaland, or Jack Grealish, who would you choose? For me, it would have to be Haaland, since he would be an investment in a top striker. And you got varying valuations there. Jack Grealish is probably 80 million. Kane a little bit more expensive, and Haaland is your premium, a little bit over 100 probably for Haaland.
Yeah, I definitely have to pick Holland. There's no chance of hell of us getting him, but that's a nice dream to have.
Yeah, I mean I think that's an easy answer. There you go with the best talent, right? He's going to be around for a lot longer. The problem is, I don't think Arsenal could hold on to him. Right? Even if they did get him, if I can hold on to him, so that would suck, right? I mean, Grealish isn't go. Grealish is like a Tierney. I don't think he's going anywhere, right? And Kane is just going to be an Aubameyang. So which one do you want? Do you want a Grealish who's going to compete with Tierney for the captaincy, or do you want Haaland, who may be just a bit too big for your team? And Haaland would be the talent you go for, but I think Grealish would be what Arsenal needs today, and which would build the team the way you want.
I got some information from Sam, who, as you know, is based in Norway, and he was talking about Erling Haaland. His information is that Haaland is going to stay at Dortmund for another season, and he's going to likely see that contract out until his release clause is activated next season. So, from what we're hearing from Sam, is that Haaland will not move in this off season. It'll be another year at Dortmund. That likely tells me that Dortmund will probably let go of Jadon Sancho this off season, this summer. So watch this space. We'll see what happens with Haaland.
I mean, I to some degree agree. Some with that comment there that we don't need to go outside the country. We don't need to go out. We don't need to go out there and find new players. If Erdegaard is the only player that really we should be getting, otherwise we have enough. There's enough talent in the league that we can play, because we're talking about letting some players go, right? And we need that homegrown number, that homegrown count, and we need Premier League ready players, right?
Yeah.
Arsenal's got a lot of changes. They need what 5 to 6 players. They can't afford to get them all outside the country.
As Stefan said, there was not only a red; it was a 6-game ban, potential leg breaker. And our referees don't think that way. Apparently, has he done? Stan does one get superpower? How does one get superpowers from a spider bite?
We saw it in the movies. Come on, dude, multiple times. Have you not been watching?
Smith Rowe, I agree with Lumbercam. Smith Rowe is more effective. They are two different players, and I think they can complement each other. They give us something else. And I think in the 77th minute, we'll get into that a little bit later. I thought we actually went for a 3-2-2-3 formation. I thought that he deployed the team quite well for us to get that winner. Said Spider must be radioactive, Tony. So you got to find one of those.
He's in the middle of like the country. There's no radioactive materials over there, is there?
Yeah, they store a bunch of it here. They ship a bunch of it to Oklahoma.
Well, you need to go take a drive by there and see what's going on.
And the oil refinery is just about 1.5 miles away.
Shout out to the wife as well. Thanks for joining. Uh, Jill Ray getting love from the spouse. So good stuff, Jill. Thanks for joining. Hakimi or Max Aarons for right back. For me, it has to be Hakimi because the experience and quality passes like a Cancelo. And these are all going to go through the summer. 2 urgent care visits, 3. It's like your appearances for Arsenal
I know
this
exactly. Look
season.
at Tony's stats for like the last season. It's like ridiculous. He's had it all done. What? Somebody took his leg. They tried to take his arm. They they dropped him in the middle of nowhere with one leg, and he had to crawl back. I mean, all these things.
I'm still here.
And you're still fighting, Tony. Good for you. You're still
I'm
fighting.
still more of an Iron Man than Zaka. Zaka missed some games.
Yeah. So that's good stats. Maybe stats you don't want, right? They're like 2 red cards, 2 urgent care visits, and 3 emergency room visits. They're like yellow cards and red cards, Tony. You do not want
You have
those.
a nurse I had.
You do not want those. Okay, so Gary, the crowd is getting on Tierney's back, and I'm thinking at this point, Tierney, he's played in Glasgow, he's played in derbies, he's used to this atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's not gonna bother him. If anything, it's probably going to drive him on to be better, and we see something in the 35th minute, which is nice from
Yeah,
Arsenal.
that whole sequence. I don't. That whole sequence. Yeah. What can you ask for? That's what we want to see, but we want to see it more than that one time, right? Because that's like a comment that just happened. We never, are we going to see it again? The back pass was from Saka, right?
Saka back to
Yeah.
Tierney.
Tierney and
Beautiful
Tierney
back
crosses it
pass.
in. Yeah.
Back
I
heel.
mean, yeah, and that's the things that in the way we're playing right now, we don't get that consistently, right? So you can't just pull the players because it's not working, right? Because you don't have better talent on the bench outside of Martinelli.
Persevere.
So you're just gonna have to deal. You're either gonna have to put them in better situations, or you're gonna have to just wait it out because they usually will give it to you. And then we scored twice after 90 minutes, right? So yeah, I mean it's there. Pepe will show up once you add the Pepe factor in there, right? And you 90 minutes, let them play. If they're tired, that's one thing, but let them play it out, right?
And these are the players. These are the players I told you. I was quite confident we were going to get 3 points an hour before kickoff. We had Kieran Tierney. I'm going to throw Elneny in there because I'm a fan of Elneny, and the stats show that Elneny in the team gets you 2 points a game, and that's more than any of the others. We'll get into that a bit later. Emile Smith-Rowe, Saka, and Pepe to finish it out, and you've got a good core there of players who are going to get you the points that you need. I think the stats with Emile Smith-Rowe and Saka in the team, Gary, have been outstanding this season, especially since the end of the year.
Yeah, and I always like to caveat that with it started with Martinelli, right? I'm always going to caveat with that because that's when
it started with Martinelli's return, right?
Martinelli returns, Smith-Rowe in the next game, and it's all all's right in the world for a little while for us. So
yeah, Tony, we're starting to add a lot of good young players, and the ratio now of experienced players who haven't been really doing it for us compared to the younger players who are exciting and moving things forward for us is getting more and more. We're getting more and more of the dynamic younger players into the team.
It's about time, isn't
it? Yeah, maybe Arteta's starting to figure things out, and we're going to talk a little bit about pre and post December 26th. Lumbercam said we need a serious right back who can give and go with Pepe and overlap.
What's interesting. What's good about that point? Yeah, what's good about that point? I was listening to someone talk about that, and the reason why Bellerin never works with that is because Bellerin likes to go inside, right?
Yeah.
And Pepe needs somebody to go on the outside, right? So
hi, Jordan.
So I don't know about how this management thing works, but if you have a player that really doesn't want to have to sit on the sideline, right, and really wants to go inside, and then you have another player that always goes inside, then you're gonna stick your best talent out there by himself with no, and it doesn't work. And every time he comes inside, right, everything Pepe's done, right, is when he's coming inside, right. But if he's got a fullback there, right, Bellerin, it doesn't work. I don't know. Maybe is he not reading the right? He's not reading the book.
Not reading the manual. Tony, I was looking here earlier. I was looking at the Tottenham game earlier. As Angel says here, people still think Reguilon is better than Tierney. Just look at the own goal he did. Stop with the debate. We know that Tierney is clear of Reguilon. Not only did that happen, but Reguilon had 2 attempted clearances blocked. 2. Well, perfectly to Ollie Watkins. He was able.
But you know. But think about this.
He said Tony.
It wasn't Tierney, but we got a Xhaka moment. All right, he kicked it off the striker. I mean, so yes, it's not the same. It's not the same position, but we did it, and that, we just spread it out. It wasn't all in one game. I mean, that guy basically killed that game for the Spuds, which was nice to see. Both clearances set up 2 goals.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, it doesn't get any better, Gary. I mean, we're looking at the last weekend and Tottenham win against Wolverhampton Wanderers 2-0. I'm thinking we need them to drop 4 points or need them to not pick up 4 points. And here we are. In those 2 games, they have not picked up 4 points. So they're not out of sight yet.
Yep.
Yeah,
we just need to do what we can do, and we can only hope that everybody else does what we want them to do. So we're just gonna wait and see on this one. Is it hey, hello Jordan? Is that Liverpool, huh?
Yeah, Tony, are you able to drop the link in the comment section there? You want to do that? Elneny has been our most consistent player.
Yeah, I mean that is true. It's just that the window is so small, right? So you're not going to get a lot of good, and you're not going to get a lot of bad. So,
yeah, I mean he's so consistent. I think what he does is he makes himself available. He's a safety valve for the rest of the team. Well, let's finish this first goal, Gary. Great combination. Tierney, Saka step it up really quickly. Saka plays to Tierney. Tierney back to Saka. Saka makes a lovely back heel, and Tierney's free of the fullback. All he's going to do is put in a great cross. Pepe has read the play perfectly. He's ghosted into the box and perfectly controlled, perfectly weighted the volley pass into the goal, and that's all you need. You don't need to leather the ball. He just controlled that in there.
Yeah, it was really nice, and I mean, as nice as that was, where was Aubameyang throughout all of that? He's behind it all, I believe, if I recall from the way the play. Your striker is behind all of that activity.
I think he may have come a little bit toward the near post, so he's taken
himself out of.
May have actually taken a goal player away from
okay, well. So I guess he did help, but all right. I'll give it. I don't remember where he was, but a lot of times he wasn't. He was behind all of the activity. Maybe not that time, but no, that's what we want to see it, and that was like bang, 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 right? It wasn't touch, lose the ball. It was, that was players taking what the defense gave them and reacting, right? And just they're not thinking about it. I got to get that ball. I got to get that ball back because I'm stuck here. And Tierney's like, I got to get that cross in. Pepe's coming. I mean, at that point, Pepe's coming from the other side of the field, right? Mm-hmm. To get because he's on the left side at that point, if I recall, of the field
he's on the right side, right?
What's the left side? No, he kicks it. He kicks it to the right corner.
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
he's
he
coming in.
comes pretty central, Gary.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what we
Great
want to
call.
see. That's why it's always nice when we get those four players up top that can just interchange so easily because you never know who's gonna be there because they will switch around, and that's the nice thing about the team. When we put any of those four players up there, we see a lot of changing of positions, and it punishes the defense because they don't know who to cover, and it opens things up like he did. That was nice.
Yeah,
I had
1-0 up. So 1-0
yeah,
up, Tony. Great goal. Pepe is. We have Saka. We have Emil Smith Rowe. No, Saka, Tierney, and Pepe combining here to get us that goal that we needed. And this is the issue with us right now. We are able to combine. We're able to use the. We're living off of the ability of our players right now to make the most of the least amount of opportunities that we're making. And it's becoming an issue. We're not creating enough, and we weren't ready to create too much more the rest of the half. But toward the end of the half, we have a situation with El Neni and Benteke, Saka as well, right? So there's probably a feeling in the league that Bukayo Saka is too good of a player. You can't just let him play. You got to play physical, and this was a little bit over physical for me by Kayasaka, especially the afters between El Neni, who I think did the right thing here, senior player stepping in, trying to help out Saka. But a player who raises his hand to the face of another opponent should really get sent off. The third time of asking, the referee bottles it, Tony.
Yeah, the referee pretty much had a shit game. Saka always just keeps getting punished by the players. He doesn't get enough protection from the referees for whatever reason. If he's Harry Kane, they'd be stop and play and he'd be getting fouls all the time. But he's Saka and doesn't give a benefit of anything.
Yeah, a real flashpoint here, Gary. Benteke gets a little bit involved too much in this.
yeah.
You
No,
raise your hand,
I,
you attempt to strike another player.
yeah.
That should be a send it off. That's a red card situation
I
right
was
there.
trying to find it because there was a tweet, or I was trying to find it on the internet. There was a reason, there was a wording behind the reason why that wasn't considered a violent offense.
I'd be interested to hear that. Did it make sense to you at the time that you read it?
No, no. I mean, I read it and I was like, I still no. What is that? What I was like thinking to myself, what in the world does that actually mean? And it was almost like intent, right? It was almost like intent.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't intentional, something like that. It didn't have a lot of weight behind it. Like if El Neni had jumped back when he touched him, that would have probably been cause for a red card. But because he
Right.
didn't, because it wasn't a violent hit in terms of the force behind it, it was okay. Which if you put your head and you touch somebody's head with it, you get a red card for that. Even if
Yeah.
the player doesn't go down, but you can't touch another player with your head, but you can put your elbow up against their chin and it's okay. So I don't get that, right? Because Pepe didn't knock that player down when he put his head up against him. It was the same thing, but he got a red for that. Benteke swung his arm at El Neni, hit him with an elbow, touched him with an elbow. It doesn't even matter at that point. You touched the player at the head, and nothing, no red. I mean, he should have had 2 yellows, right? Because, like you said, the first play, he hit Saka for what reason? I know why, but I mean, at that point, he takes out Saka. El Neni, the only reason why he's got to react, right?
It's a
He
teammate. You
gets a
want to see
yellow
that.
for arguing. That was I mean, that's what I saw was because they were arguing. He didn't even get the yellow for the elbow or taking out Saka. He got it because they were arguing. That's why they both got yellows. So instead of giving Benteke 2 yellows, he gave one to Neni for running over there. So basically, what he's saying that if Neni never ran over there, nothing would have happened. Play would have continued on. All right, and
Yeah, and this is something we want to see more and more from our players. You know,
Yeah.
as Stefan here, he said he's taking his Ipswich Carlos into this comment here. Cannot go around hitting opposition players unless they play for Norwich. Then it's acceptable. You know. So Tony, we go in 1-0 at the half. We've taken the one clear-cut opportunity that we've made, but we haven't really made a lot of other opportunities. I noticed there was a couple of passes earlier in the game. Emile Smith Rowe passing into the lane of the 6-yard box, which really you want to prod Aubameyang into getting into those areas, and Aubameyang continues to struggle, and Arsenal into the second half continue to struggle. This has become a pattern in our games. We get into the lead, but we don't get that second goal. We don't have that killer instinct, or we don't have the ability to kill teams off.
Yeah, you said what I was say. We lack the killer instinct. Like I keep saying, we just don't have the right culture at the club. We don't hold the knife to the throat. We're not cutthroat. We're not ready to go in and kill the opponent off. And the Bombering's pretty much on vacation or whatever he's doing, half on.
Aubameyang, yeah. I mean, he might still be struggling from malaria. So
Car wrap flu.
Yeah. Gary, we see in the second half that Crystal Palace have come out. Benteke has a header over the bar. 54-minute. Pepe is tussling with the fullback. Gets across and Emile Smith Rowe. I noticed Emile Smith Rowe has been heavily marked. So I think they've mandated a player to try to mark Emile Smith Rowe. And every time he seemed to get the ball, he would come backwards and come back inside. So wasn't easy for Emile Smith Rowe on the day. And then 62nd minute, Benteke would get the goal that we feared. This will be his fourth goal in 4 games. He had scored 3 before in the last 3 games, but a strange goal. It looked offside to me. VAR didn't seem to spend a lot of time, but it's Arsenal. We get the Arsenal VAR attacks against us. They only spend a few seconds. Other teams seem to get minutes to check and get the right angles.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to go back a little bit before I get into that particular play, but we, like you said, we continually play the ball backwards when we needed to actually move the ball up a little bit more, at least make the defense kind of move and, give the defense something to think about. And that's what hurt us, I think. That's when the play got stale. It's because we just would not want to force anything. And I understand why they don't want to force it, but we need to make the defense move a little bit, and we never do that. So, every player did that. Pepe was doing it. Like you said, Emile Smith Rowe did that. But I think that kind of hurts us sometimes that we just don't take it an extra step and go a little bit more and try to penetrate the defense to some degree. But yeah, I think coming into the game, everybody was saying, well, Benteke is going to score, right? So chalk, give them a goal. Coming into the game, we were saying that. It was like, all right, Vardy isn't starting, but he's going to be on the bench. Oh, so he's going to score,
Yeah.
Kane is hurt all week. He's been laid up in the hospital. He broke his leg. It's in a cast, but he's probably going to play against Arsenal, on the weekend, all those. And we cater to that. So if you know what that player could do. When I looked at that play, El Neni seems to be the one marking Benteke, which to me, and that's why he's the one that gets pretty much pushed down to the ground. Which 9 times out of 10, that's a penalty, right? And the whistle's blown, and they don't get anything out of it. Then he gets a hand on Gabriel, right? And he falls down. I mean, he falls down because he knows he's not going to get to the ball because the players been able to put a hand on him and keep him away. So he falls down to maybe once again try and get the referees to baited to call a foul because he already knocked down one player, got a hand on another one, got the space he needed, and he's clear through on goal. Right.
This reminded me of the first home game for Arteta Chelsea when Jorginho pushed one of our players over in a free kick situation. Not one player goes down, Gary, but two. We got El Nene, the hand is in his back. He goes down easy, but he goes down, and then Gabriel as well. And Benteke
Yeah.
is there to put away the header.
Yeah. I mean that's I mean, like I said, I would have liked to have seen Gabriel mark Benteke, but I mean, I don't know what if they're not going to call that, then we're in trouble, right? We're in trouble because that's not going to get called against us, right? It's going to get called against us when we do this same thing. We put our hand on a player, knock him down, and that first one's getting called every time. And I saw something that everybody's like, you know what? It has to do with that quote from Wenger about the officials in England, right? And and I guess the head of officials, right? He doesn't like us, right? So essentially, we're not getting any calls, and that is it a conspiracy? I don't know. Seems to always be happening to us consistently. They didn't call anything in our favor much in that game, but yeah,
Is Pepe capable of 15 goals and 15 assists?
You play him for 30 plus games, I think you're going to get that.
Yeah, and Stephen agrees as well. Pepe can get 15 goals and 15 assists next season. He's the manager. Sees sense and plays him, and I think when Dia could be the kind of player that could unlock. He could be our Bruno Fernandes, maybe. We need that kind of player.
I mean, that's total, right? That's total for the season, all games.
Yeah, it would be all games.
He did 14 and 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he wasn't even a starter for much of the not always for every game. So I feel like if he if he's a consistent starter for us, right? I mean, he only started. He didn't start 13 games of the 28 that he played. So he should have been a starter for us. Williams should have never played a lot of those. I mean, this all goes back to we talk about December all the time, right? Talk about December. We talk about Mill Smith Rowe. What about before Smith Rowe?
Correct.
Because that's where we lost the season. That's where we lost top 4. That's where we lost top 6. That's where we lost, any semblance of form, right?
Yep.
Those first 15 games, right? We lost 8 of them.
Yeah, we in those 15 games, Gary, we picked up. Actually, it's 14 games. We picked up 14 points in those 14 games. Yeah. We had 4 wins and 2 draws, and we lost 8, to your point.
Yeah. I mean, and that's where we lost it. It just looks bigger now because we know we got a good team, so we shouldn't be giving up points. I mean, you look at how many of the losses did we have where you looked at it and you said, you know what, we just got beat today. Which one was it? The City game, Liverpool game?
Yeah.
I mean, both of those games, I think if we played to form, it wouldn't have been that bad, I don't think. But any other game we lost, all those other games that we lost, nah.
Yeah, if we'd have gotten some of those draws back, Tony, we would probably be going into this weekend thinking that we would be quite close to, the top 4, because we're about 8 points off the top 4. Angel said here, he's quoting Arteta. Arteta said, if somebody told us in November, December that we would have the chance to qualify for Europe in the last game, I would have said you're crazy. Arteta's gassed about the Conference League. Sack him. Tony, we get to the 65th minute. Substitutes start coming in, and Odegaard comes on for Saka.
Yeah, you probably like to keep Saka on longer, but it's nice to see Odegaard come on. You probably want to see the substitution closer to 60 minutes, give Odegaard 30 minutes, but
a player who would come on and
substitutions.
Impact the game. Emil Smith Rowe, I think, went on the left, but as the the substitutes would come 10 or 12 minutes later. I think we went to a 3-2-2-3 formation. Um, my notes say, Tony, at this point, Tottenham have lost 2-1 to Villa. So we're all feeling frustration at this point, Tony. And let me just tell you, I went cold turkey on social media. I didn't want to know anything about the Arsenal game. And I want to say it's really, really difficult to unplug and not know because I wanted to watch the game later. And, it was frustrating watching the game, not knowing the result. And I imagine in real time, it was really, really frustrating, Tony.
Yeah, how many lucky charms and box of tricks did you go through during that time?
Zero, zero. But I knew that Tottenham had lost, Gary. I knew at that point in time Tottenham had lost 2-1 to Villa, and it would be so very Arsenal of us not to take advantage, especially in this season.
We definitely, we did if the game was only 90 minutes, right? If the game was only 90 minutes, we would have definitely lost that opportunity, And we're lucky. And you look at the stats, we're lucky. We're lucky to not have been down, a goal. I mean, as much as we had possession, they had most of the attempts. They had most of the shots on goal up until that last 5 minutes of the match in extra time. So, yeah.
Lumber Camp said every season is the same. Start off poor, 10th place by October, claw our way back to 6th, and miss out on top 4 by a point. Now we can't even do that. And, we definitely, hopefully, as I'm saying, last year, December of last year, 6 months ago, was our rock bottom. I hope that's the case. Stefan said, who could Arsenal replace Arteta with? Difficult enough replacing Dracula. Only so many cartoon managers out there. And, Rafa is a coach that I did like before Arteta came in, and I did want Rafa. Arteta, for me, was a coach that I never even had that on the radar. Didn't think he would get the job, but happened like that overnight, Gary.
Yeah, and that's the dysfunction that we have going on with our team, right? That we know we just let Wenger go. We know Unai Emery wasn't showing up. Yep. So you're thinking, all right, so we're going to go out and try to get the best manager that we can, right? No, we didn't do that at all. We didn't go out and get the best manager that we could. Didn't get an up and coming manager. Didn't even get a manager. He never managed before. But that's how we're going to grow this. So not only that, then the plan isn't to make sure that everything around him is solid as well. I mean, I don't believe, and I don't know if you guys do, but I don't believe his the men he has sitting on the bench with him are good.
Yeah, they're yes men, and when you are in, when you surround yourself with people who are going to say yes, you're not going to think critically of yourself until hopefully when all the dust is settled here and the Euros are going on, Arteta's pouring over all of the footage and the tape that he's able to see the mistakes that he made.
I hope he is doing that because he's not doing that with the players. He's not looking at the tape of the players who are making mistakes and going, you know what, we need to do better here and there and everywhere, right? He's not doing that. I mean, what does he do?
That's for players he builds up, the ones that makes mistakes.
I mean, it doesn't even look. He probably doesn't even. There's no way he goes back, looks at the tape of the game, and goes, "You know what? I'm gonna do the exact same thing again." Nobody does that, right? There's no way he's looking at the tape, going, "You know what?
Sure,
oh, you know what? It wasn't Xhaka's fault. It was everybody else around his fault, right?" Why isn't Aubameyang getting shot opportunities? Because we're putting crosses in. He can't. We're putting crosses in. He should be able to get at the end of those. That's what Aubameyang does, right?
He fell down twice, was it?
Was it what?
Said it wasn't Xhaka's fault. He fell down twice.
Tony, 70 minutes, Berlino makes a great save from Benteke. 74 minutes, Wilfred Zaha has a shot. And, so Berlino is keeping us in the game here. And we're looking a little bit shaky as well. It's going back and forth. We don't know if Arsenal's going to win or if they're going to lose at this point.
That's a weird looking beer that Gary's drinking.
Oh, I'm done with beer.
Oh, you're done with beer?
Yeah, just
Oh.
one beer show.
Yeah, Leno kind of saved our ass in the last 20 minutes. Like I said, he's still a good player, still a good shot stopper. Just needs to work on his communication.
I mean, communication. I think that's a lost cause right now. We need a center back who's vocal. So I have a feeling that's never going to happen. But
instead of center backs we keep using, that would help.
Yeah, Leno did come out and get a ball at his highest point. He did that. He came out with authority. He got the ball at his highest point, got clipped, fell down, got a little, probably got a little bump, but he actually came out with authority and got the ball in the air. In not a lot of traffic, but there was an offensive player there, right? And he did that.
Look at this, Stephen. This is true, Stephen. Our last two managers have been very Dracula-like. Halloween at the Emirates has been fantastic with our last two managers. Mark, you're right here. Bergkamp as assistant coach would be a good addition, and we might just touch on the takeover bid. Hopefully, it's ongoing. Hopefully. I'm hardened by the fact that Dennis Bergkamp is in the background and he's saying some things that Dennis usually never talks. He never puts himself out in the media. But if Dennis is saying Daniel Ek is for real, I hope that's the case. But a lot of Gooners out there are not going to get behind it unless they feel a little bit more confident about it. It's been an absolute horror show. This season has been. Halloween in Arsenal with Silence Dan. That's the creepy butler. Good one, Stefan. Good one.
Good keeper.
So, Gary, the substitutions come in 77 minute. Kieran Tierney's taken off. Granit Xhaka's put on. Now we're sacrificing a defender for a midfielder that's going to give us a little bit more in midfield. What do you see that as a negative, Gary?
I don't understand those subs.
I do.
I don't understand.
I don't understand the subs because at that point it's a tie match and you're trying to score.
Yeah, 1-1.
And you take off Saka, you take off
Partey,
you take off Tierney.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Martinelli needed to come on for Aubameyang. All right, in my eyes, El Neni can come off, and you can put Millsworth Rowe and put him back with Partey. Xhaka doesn't need to come on the pitch.
Well, what he's done is he's taken a defender off who's probably getting tired at this stage in Kieran Tierney, and he's gone 3 at the back, and he's given a midfielder who can pass the ball, Granit Xhaka. A midfielder who can pass the ball. He's going to help Partey shore things up in midfield, and Martinelli's come on.
Ray, are you listening to yourself speak?
You just said we got much better because we put Xhaka out there.
Xhaka can pass the ball.
We just took off three of our best, our 3 core players. We took off our 3 core players, and you just said we got better.
Yeah, Saka, Tierney, and Partey.
Think of 3 players in an era where we won a championship, where you can say we took off our 3 best players, and we got better. I go back into because I don't have that memory because I wasn't following Arsenal as much back then. Tell me 3 players like you're going to take off Henry, Bergkamp, Vieira, and nothing bad's going to happen, and we're going to get better for it. Basically, that's what they did, right?
Yes.
Essentially, they did that.
Ray's brain lost.
Well, what we did is we put Martinelli on the field and he would have a part to play in the winning goal, Gary, across from Odegaard, who's been on the field for Saka since 65th minute.
Those two should have come on together. One, and like I said, Xhaka didn't need to come on. Unless, like you said, unless Tierney's tired. I mean, he rested a whole week, right? You telling me he can't play 90?
Yep.
I mean, that can't happen next season. I mean, it shouldn't happen next season because Xhaka should be on the bench again. Maybe coming in, in the cup games, right? But in a game like this where you need to win, you should be playing your best players. Yeah.
Tony, to Gary's point, and I was going to bring this up. This is a good point good time to bring it in right now. Tony, we had a whole week to plan for Crystal Palace. If we're not going to make it into Europe on Sunday, this is what it's going to look like next season. We should be winning games easier away to Crystal Palace, having a whole week off to prepare.
Yeah, it should be easy to go to Selhurst Park and get a win, especially with the players we have. Just keep saying we don't have a right team mentality, right culture, right manager. Just everything's not right.
Gary's coming after me in the next
No,
round.
I didn't. You saw what would happen. You just saw what happened. We had a week off.
Yep.
We got one game, and we have, and then and you saw what happened.
No more lucky charms for Ray. No more lucky charms.
This is what happened. Like we needed to win this game, and he pulled off his three best players. Wait, when you name the top three players on the team, who are the top three?
Yeah.
And I mean, like talent-wise, right? Partey, we expected to lean on him next season. Tierney for his leadership, and Xhaka is up and coming.
Yeah,
and
those three players are definitely core players. Gary, we'll agree with you. Partey, Tierney, and Saka
Gary. You don't
are core players.
I don't understand that logic.
Great goal by Martinelli. Whether he controlled it perfectly, didn't intend it probably, but the ball bounced up where he needed it. Did we get a slice of luck there? I mean, he's in the right place, the right time. We get the slice of luck we need.
That's all that matters.
And he's able to follow his own bounce in and get the ball into the net.
I mean, think about this: is Aubameyang calling for that cross, getting to that cross, and then getting to the bounce?
No.
Right? I mean, Martinelli was calling for that cross. Like I looked at the clock, he was calling for that cross for about a minute. He was sitting on right outside the 18 with his hand up, calling for it. And then eventually he gets inside the box. He's still calling for it. And Odegaard finally gets the ball with a little bit of space and puts it in. I mean, he was calling. I mean, that's what you want, right? You want your players wanting the ball. Yeah. Yeah. So and that's what we didn't. It was. I mean, that's what you do in the playground, right? You know, just put it in there. I'll get there, right? And Martinelli got there. I mean, that was.
A lovely moment as well, Gary, to see Martinelli rewarded for his dedication. And we saw the press conference afterwards, his interview. He seems to be right behind the manager as well and doing all the right things. And you want to reward that kind of dedication to the cause.
Yeah, and he wasn't. We always think that he's getting punished, not really punished, but held back. Arteta, but it seems like he's happy about the way it's. At least it came off as if he's okay with the way that he's being handled. It seemed right from the way he was communicating. So, I mean, and I like anything else, I think Arteta knows a lot more than we do, right? So,
we have to think that way as well, right? It's difficult as fans sometimes to think that way, Tony.
It's all Lego buying, Harry.
Lego binary. Tony, great goal from Martinelli.
Yeah, great goal from him. He still needs more minutes. He needs to be playing more, but Arteta seems to have different plans than we do for Martinelli.
And in a game where it looked like Palace were going to push for that winner against us, there was a couple of helter-skelter issues. Staving on the line, Bern Leno had his part to play. It's not really how you want to win the game, but you know, you want to be 3-0 up and then have Benteke score what would be a consolation goal. And you don't want to score in the 91st minute, the 93rd minute, whatever it is. It just doesn't. It's a nice way to win, and hopefully it gives us a nice bounce going into Sunday.
It's
But
it's not nice enough, Ray. We want to see 4-0. We want to see Arsenal Luchador pop up.
yeah, we want to have a facile win. Gary, I'm going to drop out for a second and just want you to take you and Tony talk about the second Pepe goal, and I'll be right back.
Nice. All right, so there
so,
we go.
So quickly after that, euphoria of Martinelli scoring, Roy Hodgson looking pissed off, and Arteta breathing a huge sigh of relief. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I mean, basically for me, when it hits 90 minutes, I'm settled that, you know what, we're not going to get a win. Not the way we had been playing all season, right? I mean, we get to like the 70th minute, and I feel like, you know what, any chance of us scoring is gone, right? Because you know what the other team's going to do, especially after they've been fighting just to get back and they get a point. I'm thinking, you know what, this game's over. There's no way, and I do. The subs probably did help. I would have liked to have seen different changes, but it did definitely. The changes we didn't lose much, but it took a while, right? It took about 12 minutes before they actually kicked in, which always leads us back to should they come on earlier, right?
Yeah,
I think I would have liked to have seen Martinelli come in at halftime because I think Aubameyang wasn't doing it for me, So, Aubameyang for Lacazette probably would have made more sense to me if you're not going to bring Martinelli in for him. But otherwise, I thought the game was done. The game was done. We're getting a point out of this, and any chance of moving up the table isn't going to happen.
Yeah, the players were probably confused. They weren't coming on at the 85th, 87th minute. They're like, "Whoa, we have some time to make impact."
That is funny, right?
We get two goals after 90 minutes. Imagine that.
Yeah. You're right about that. Like I'm so expecting the subs to come in the 70th minute. When they happen in the 60th minute, inside the 60 to 70 minute range. I'm like, what? I don't recognize it sometimes because I'm not expecting it. But yeah, so I felt like the game was over, But like I said, Martinelli comes on, he's going 100%. He wants to do something when he comes out there. Other players just want to get their minutes, I guess. But that Pepe goal, that's the thing. He's in the middle of traffic, right?
Yeah,
he's got 4 players surrounding him.
Yeah,
and he's still got the wherefore. He's still got the awareness to be able to get whatever space he needs to get that shot off. I think he shoots with his left foot, right, to the far corner, and go. Voila. But you put him one-on-one on the outside, he can't get past the guy, right? Because I think early in that same half, he gets the ball. He gets past his guy, and I can see it from the angle. He can go all the way to the goal line if he wants to, and maybe put a cross in. And he hesitates. He doesn't want to do it. I understand it, right? But then he does that with people all around him, and I'm like, yes, and that's Pepe for you. I mean, some of the easy things he makes difficult, and some of the difficult things he makes makes them look really easy. I mean,
yeah, and I think this is what we have to do with Pepe. We have to understand the type of player that he's going to frustrate you for 80% of the game, 85% of the game, but he's going to show you something if you just persevere with him. Once every 142 minutes, which is every other game, he's going to give you something, a goal or an assist in there. Lumbercamp, harken back to Martinelli here. If I was Martinelli, I'd be handing in a transfer request. Could bag a ton of goals if he played regularly. Maybe he's one for the future, Tony. Maybe he is going to get that extended run in the let's face it, if Aubameyang continues in this vein into next season, hi Alonso,
Pepsi. I want a
Aubameyang's
Pepsi.
not going to be starting or playing as much next season if he continues the way he has this
Who?
season.
Who? Who's not? Who's gonna do that?
Martinelli.
Martinelli.
He's gonna be not playing much.
No,
He'll
Aubameyang's
be
not going to
playing
be playing
more.
much.
Oh,
Right?
If Aubameyang continues the season that he had this season, you could see Martinelli getting a lot more time, right?
Nope.
I don't see it, but I think it should happen. Right?
All right.
I think we're gonna cater like we always do, cater for the seniority on the team and punish the talented players on the team that are actually performing. Right? The young talent on the team. Put your hand down.
Yeah.
I mean,
Put your
that's what we're
hand
gonna
down.
do, right? I mean, we're talking about re-signing Lacazette.
Alonso.
We can't afford two strikers making over 250 a week. That's 600,000 between two players,
It's
and we can't afford that. I don't think we can afford that.
Let me go to Alonso next. Alonso, welcome and congratulations. You are going to be an uncle
Yeah,
That's right.
for the fourth time.
yeah. Thanks,
Uncle Lonnie.
Are you the good uncle, or are
Yeah,
you
I
the fun
think-
uncle?
He's the fun uncle.
He
Yeah,
brings him plenty of Pepsi.
Yeah.
Do you sneak Pepsis into the crib when mom's
No.
not? When mom's when?
Well, my sister would kill me probably, but nah, not yet at least.
I've got a brother and I've got brothers-in-laws and stuff like that, and I've got some competition to try to be the cool uncle. You know, I really try hard, but you know,
Yeah, it's a fun gig, right? I mean, it's all right, you know. It's fun. I go to them. They're not here. They're in Maryland, but I gotta make the best out of the times I have with them, you know.
Gary spinning facts is the same reason Willock had to leave to flourish. Yep. So Alonso, let's get you into it here. Give me your. You've seen the game, the 3-1 to Arsenal. Hugely frustrating. It looks like if you're looking at 3-1 Arsenal, you would say from that scoreline without actually seeing the game, it was a pretty easy, facile win. No issues there, right? 3 easy points, but it didn't turn out that way.
No, and it's always weird because we always struggle against Crystal Palace, you know, and they're a middle to lower tier team in the table every year, but they always bring out the best against us. And guess who scores again? It's Claude Benteke, and he does it every time. And last year, I believe, or 2 years ago, he was scoreless, had no goals, and he was bad that whole year. Yet he scores against us all the time.
Yeah.
Somehow it always happens, right? But
Yep.
no, I mean, I think it's crazy how if you give Pepe time and if you work with him a little bit, he gives confidence to, I guess, to do well. And when we signed him, there was a lot of expectations. Though it wasn't his fault that the price tag was that high on him, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So he's had a lot of pressure on him, unfair pressure to a certain extent. And Emery and Arteta didn't play him much. They don't favor him for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
But to see him score those goals was what we needed from him at the hardest time. And it shows you the talent level he has or he's capable of doing. And it's unfortunate that he disappears on all those games that we needed him to play in. But it shows what he could do on this day, on his best day.
Mm-hmm.
And the same with Gabriel Martinelli, you know, it's like it's weird how Arteta handled the situation, you know, because all of us here can agree that he's something special. And whenever the ball is on his feet, he can make something happen, you know, whether it be an assist or scoring goals. But it also has to do with the team that's around him as well, you know, and I think Odegaard will be very important for him to be here next year, or at least we get a chance to sign him, because it kind of shows you the charisma they have now, the chemistry with Saka,
Yeah. Yeah.
Odegaard, Martinelli, and Tierney. These young kids can do something.
The future, the near future, hopefully starting to look promising, Alonso. And good stuff. I got a great panel here because I wrote that stuff in my notes, but I wasn't going to mention we haven't done well against Crystal Palace in recent years, and you just stated that, Alonso, perfectly. No wins in I think 6 games previously. And Alonso, you look back, Crystal Palace have been, for many reasons, have been a bogey team for us, been a bogey team for Granit Xhaka. All the history that we've had with Crystal Palace, it's not been an easy fixture home and away, Alonso, against Crystal Palace over the years.
No, and it's weird because no matter what side they put out, we don't do well against them, and it hurts almost, and they almost did it again yesterday. They were in the game for most of the game, and fair play to them, and Zaha does this diving stuff which is funny because then it didn't get caught this time, and it shows that they got away with a red card there in the first half, I believe, and it's crazy how it works out that way sometimes.
Yeah, Gary, any other points toward the game? I want to ask the question: Are we improving? Did we weather the storm, and did we pull it out with our game changers in the end? I'm asking the question as the host.
I don't.
I don't believe. I'm not believing what I'm saying. I'm asking the question. They're critical questions.
I think.
Conversation.
Part of me thinks we got lucky. I can't see Arteta saying, "All right, here we go. I'm going to take out. I'm going to take out these 3 players, and I put these 3 players in, and this is how things are going to change." I don't see him thinking that way right now. I feel like he's got a sheet of paper with oh, you know what? Somebody needs to get their minutes today, and that's who goes in the game. It's like the varsity team, at a high school or something.
My friend needs some time. Yeah.
Yeah. So certain players need to get on. That's what I feel happened.
Yeah.
Because in reality, unless they're tired, they're not coming out of a match like that, right? So I believe he got lucky. At least right now, if I see it consistently in the future, then maybe. But I don't think any of the decisions he's making are planned, like truly planned. Like, you know what? I know what's going to happen here. Millsworth Rowe is not going to be ready till December, so as soon as he's ready, I'm going to get him in there and play him right when he's healthy and ready to go. In the meanwhile, I'm going to do nothing for the first 15 games of the season and just basically just waste it. Because that's what it looked like happened, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He knew he needed a Millsworth Rowe. He needed somebody in the middle. He knew that in the summer. He knew that in the summer that he needed another player.
Sure he knew that?
He knew that.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Gary's
I believe
sure.
so. He was trying to get Aouar, right? So he knew that, but he didn't have a backup plan. So as soon as Aouar deal wasn't going to work, he had no backup to get at least a second player, right? Aouar maybe not. Maybe that was a blessing in disguise. The way things were going on with him, but we needed both positions anyways, right? We needed an Aouar and we needed a Partey, and if we couldn't get those 2, then we needed to get the next best thing, right? And I think there are players out there that would have improved us in those positions that we could have gotten if we looked, right?
Mm-hmm.
We kind of look at the top of we kind of look at the top 2 positions for every top 2 players for each position and try to get them, and it's like that's not where we are. We're not that type of squad. So like I said, I don't like I said, sorry, I don't feel like he's planning anything. I think he's just getting lucky with it. Because are the players doing it on the field for him, Gary? Yeah. I mean, when's the last time you've seen any of our players put their hand up for a cross in the middle of play? Not on a free kick, but we're coming down the field. and a player is going, give me the ball, get the ball to me, and I'll do something with it. When's the last time you saw that? It's quiet. Why is it so quiet on this panel?
Pepe for that last goal. Give the ball to
Pepe
me.
for the last goal after the Martinelli one. But I mean, before that.
Yeah. And listen, I stepped out for a second while you were. Thanks for taking over.
We went back. We went back to like the 89th minute. So you caught us getting caught up.
That was pure skill from Pepe to be able to do that, to be able to go through 3 or 4 players and put the ball in. I think he's really starting to find his feet. Unfortunately, it's toward the end. Ray Anderson.
He has 2 feet, Ray?
Yeah, he's got 2 feet. 4 straight wins in the league is luck. And we know, Tony, I'm going to go to Alonso because we know your take on this. 4 straight wins in the league is luck. Ray Anderson's asking, ? Alonso.
Yeah, you saw my comment.
I don't think it's luck. I think it's determination. Knowing we were at the table, I think that we had the players to do so. It's just coaching and the motivation to finish strong. I think some teams who are in our situation would have crumbled and not cared. And I think this team cares, especially the youngsters that they was today, like Martinelli, like Emil's like Tierney. Even Onene put in a shift today, and so yesterday. So there's something said to be said to be about that, and it may not be a great season for our team, but they're finishing on a high, I guess,
Yeah.
So.
I don't think it's. I don't know. I don't think it's luck, but I mean, I don't think it's all luck, but I don't think it's planned. That's the part that I don't think it is. I don't think those situations are planned. I think we have good enough players that can overcome bad coaching and bad player management. Right? We have talented players, right? You have Pepe who can make something out of nothing, right? You've got Martinelli that does things that nobody else does in terms of his energy on the field, right? There's no I don't think on Arteta's plan and list of items for the day that he's got Martinelli. I want you to kind of
understand Lego binary, Gary.
Yeah, listen, we are living off of our individual brilliance. We've beaten Newcastle away from home, which was a good win with Matt Ryan between the sticks, and Matt Ryan won't be playing on Sunday, I don't believe. Arsenal, we beat West Brom at home, a good win again. Emil Smith-Rowe stepping forward. Chelsea kind of beat themselves in the next game, but those are the kind of games, Tony, that we were not winning in the last few years. That Chelsea result shows us something, that we were able to take advantage of someone else's misfortune, and then to beat Crystal Palace away from home, albeit in the final minutes. Tony?
So let's see. We had a plan to score 2 goals in the 90th minute to win a game against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Nah, it's more of just Lego binary. Shit happens. We got lucky. Let's
see if we can get Lego binary trending here. Hashtag Lego binary for Arteta. Lumber Camp, good to have you here. Buendia, Basuma, Partey, midfield would be solid with Smith-Rowe and Willock as backup. Sell, Granit Xhaka, use Elneny as squad player. Midfield maybe Smith. I think Smith-Rowe ultimately has shown us, this is the hot take, that we may not need Odegaard, Alonso.
We need both.
Well, Odegaard is doing something special when he's not injured. So I think he adds some pizzazz to the team. And I think it works well with Smith-Rowe and Odegaard are in the same team. I think they're both dynamic.
Yeah, and they complement each other.
Yeah. And Saka with them as well. So I think that's a good nucleus to build off of if Odegaard does stay. I hope he does stay too. So,
Yeah.
I think
I love-
Mendy is good enough to make it, but I think he'll stay with Norwich.
As Ray says here, the game is for 90 minutes, played for 90 plus minutes. How many times have we conceded in those 90 minutes? How many times have we given a goal that we actually scored? The one we scored against Chelsea. And Gary, when 66 points was our target, we're going to fall short of 66
That wasn't
points.
our target, right? Top 4 was our target.
Yeah, and
That was your
66
target.
points. 66 points
Yeah.
is
I don't-
where
I
the
don't-
top
I
4
kinda-
teams are right now.
I kind of wanted to, yeah.
We got 88% of that total so far, Gary.
But we failed.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I mean,
Let's get off this
when
batter then.
when we did this estimate,
I'm going to take this batter off.
I said I thought we would be able to get 5th place, right? Which would have been an improvement. I thought 5th was legitimate, and 5th we could have gotten 5th place with this team easily, I think. But we failed on that. And I was just saying on Ray Anderson's comment about the 90 minutes. Like I was saying, like when you went away, basically it hit 70 minutes, and I pretty much was done.
Yeah.
Based on the way we had played, we don't play for 90
No
minutes.
shots on target in the
sometimes,
second
right?
half.
Right. Up to the 90th minute, we had no shots on target.
Yeah.
So so we got to play more than 90. But wow, why we don't have to waste 45? Right? We wasted 45 minutes before we actually put a shot on goal.
Same thing happened at Burnley away from home. Same thing as this is a pattern, Gary. This is a pattern where we're not effective in the second half.
And we should be, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when Arteta was getting those mid half discussions, right? Water breaks, things would change for the better. Now we go into halftime, we come out worse. Right? How does that work? 22 minutes, he's fine, improving the team. 45 minutes, nah.
This comment came from this guy, Gary here. Haru had us scoring 78 goals this season.
Is that me?
Yeah, it
Yep.
was you.
Wow, 78. That sounds like was I drinking when I put that down?
No, it was a Sunday
you know what?
afternoon.
With our talent, and we're expecting, I think we had scored. I mean, was that a big jump from the previous season? I can't remember.
Not much.
It wasn't a big jump, right, from what we had done in the previous season. So you're expecting, all right, you're expecting Aubameyang maybe not to get as high as he got before, but still get us, 20 plus goals in the whole season, right?
Last season, Gary, we scored 56 goals last season.
I had 78. That sounds like a lot.
That was a big jump. Yeah.
I was ambitious there. I was hoping to see improvements from Saka, improvements from Pepe, based on what they had done going into the
Some
season.
of Ray's lucky charms.
If we win, if we score 3 goals on Sunday, we'll have equaled the amount of goals we scored last season, but we will have conceded less goals. So, listen, let's jump to the Tony Don Juan man in the match, and let's just go straight to the source. Tony, give us your man in the match for the game.
Well, he scored 2 goals. If he didn't score 2 goals, we want to win 1. So Pepe.
It's got to be Pepe, right? Alonso, what do you think?
I think Pepe, because his work ethic finally pays off. I think that he shows his athleticism. He didn't give up. He has a lot of skill, and it's important that he continue doing that into next year. And from this game on, sky's the limit for this guy. I think he has a lot of potential still, and it's finally paying off. I think the training's paying off for him. So I give it to Pepe.
What I really liked, Alonso, was I saw a video of him in the dressing room afterwards, and I think Aubameyang and Lacazette are having fun with Pepe, and I think he's starting to feel like he's part of the dressing room. I think he's starting to. He seems like a very quiet person. You know what I mean?
What happens when you start getting minutes?
Yeah, yeah. So I think he's starting to feel part of things, Alonso. And I think it's starting to really happen for him, and hopefully it continues.
Yeah, he seems like a very humble guy, and I think we need more of that at Arsenal. Like Onene, I think that guys like that who want to play for Arsenal and want to fight for the badge, and not give up on the team, and it kind of shows that he's loved by the club.
Yeah. Gary, Ray Anderson is asking why we don't see that from Pepe more often. I think he's just that kind of player, right? He's going to frustrate more than he's going to excite.
Well, I think it's about what I was talking about earlier. He likes the ball in certain positions on the field, and he gets the ball on the outside too much. He wants the ball a little bit closer inside, and that's why he needs somebody. That's why he needs the overlap. Think about it when Pepe was doing basically nothing right in the beginning of the season. Who was playing right back?
That
Yeah,
Aki?
So who's playing right back now?
Chambers.
I mean, just look at his play. I mean, I don't know. Could that be it? I don't know. I don't know. I mean that you're asking why Pepe looks better at certain times, and a lot of times it's based on the players around him, right?
I think it's very simple, Gary.
Why does Emil Smith-Rowe and Odegaard look bad some games? It's because of the players around them are struggling to do their job, so then it makes them look bad, But Pepe, same thing. He likes the ball. He gets the ball out there on the wing with one defender. He doesn't want to get past them at all. But you give him a little space where he can cut inside. Every time he does good things, right? So I think we don't put him in positions to succeed, so then you don't see it enough, right?
Exactly.
Same thing. Aubameyang needs to have the ball in a certain position, a certain place on the field. We don't do that, he's going to struggle, right?
Exactly, Gary. You put a player in good situations, and they're going to come through for you more often than not.
Yeah. And that comment about the player coming inside, I heard it on a show today, I believe. So that's where I got it. So, but you see it though. Think about every play that Pepe makes. How often is he going on the outside, coming back in? Never. He's coming right in and making a play. I mean, that long shot that he took a couple games ago, right? He gets that ball, he cuts inside, gone. He kicks it with his right foot, right? Same thing, inside, everything, inside. And that's why I think some people are saying, why don't we play with two up top, right? And have Pepe be one of them, because that's where he wants to be. So I think, it should be easy, right? And I don't know all the things that Arteta's supposed to know. And we've got fans seeing all that stuff, and that's the problem, right? We see all these things that to us make a lot of sense, but our players never get put in that situation, and they fail, so they look bad.
Pepe has played many minutes this season, but he doesn't do that often when he plays. Listen, let's get on to the next section. Tony, here's the situation with one game left. Can it happen, Tony? Can we jump Everton? Can we jump Tottenham? Tottenham play away to Leicester City. Leicester City will be in a dogfight for the top four, and they're going to need to get goals. If Liverpool match what Leicester City do in terms of win, Leicester will need to get a lot of goals. I think the goal difference is 4. What I'm saying is, I think we can safely say Leicester will beat Tottenham on Sunday. What do you think?
In the end, it doesn't matter. Our season ain't good enough. Who cares? If we're in the Europa Conference League, I really don't give a shit.
Give me something to work off of here. Come on.
Do you care about your Europa Conference League?
I care about finishing above Tottenham for the first time in how many seasons? Do you care about that?
Not really. I want us to be in the top 4 and being in the Champions League. I don't give a fuck where they finish.
Hey, come on, Tony.
If I finish,
Tony, tell us how you really feel. I'm not really feeling it. You're kind of holding back.
I'm Champions League or bust. That's pretty much it.
I mean,
listen,
that is the goal, right? The goal is to be top of the league, stay. We want to start out at the top of the league like we always do, and we want to finish it at the top of the league, right? We don't really want to move when it comes to start and end of the season. So that's the ultimate goal. But Tony, we do have to make some milestones in between there. Yeah.
Probably like what,
Tony,
Thursday nights or Friday nights or whenever.
Right. Well, you know what? We need. I can't see this team not playing in Europe and then next season playing. Say we have a really good season and we finish top 4 and then be able to play Champions League along with everything else we do and not see a big fallout based on what I've seen today. Things might change in the course of a year, but based on what I'm seeing right now, I can't see us building for the future, not having European games and then just jumping into the Champions League, for example, if we finish 4th, right?
Playing what teams in Europa Conference League?
It doesn't matter. And what many said is we just use our youth and those things anyways, right? You're not sending Saka to wherever it is to play, right?
Are you sure?
You're definitely not sending Tierney.
You sure, Gary?
You're not sending Tierney.
Are you sure with Lego Man?
He's not. Wow.
We're gonna find out next season, right, Gary? Gary, you're flogging a dead horse here.
That's Ray's uncle there.
Ray's tuned in.
Tony, I have one thing to say to you. If you have Arsenal DNA, you always want to finish above Tottenham. Always want to finish above Tottenham.
So you see Ryan's comment there. Since Saka has come in, right? How many Champions League qualifications have we made in the league?
Yeah, we're not making Champions League if Xhaka is on the roster. There you go, Brian. Yeah, definitely.
We haven't made it for 4 years.
We've been with Xhaka, and
we got rid of Colonel Mustard, and we still got Xhaka, and we're still.
Coincidence or not, we've degraded ourselves ever since Xhaka's been with us. Okay, so Alonso, Tony doesn't mind that we finish above Tottenham or not. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice. We all can't stand Tottenham. And it's important to us that we finish above Tottenham. It gives us some momentum, some sense of pride, I guess. And they're not very good right now. Or never will be. So they're always they're baller jobs, right? And they deserve to be lower than us this year and every year. So, I mean, it makes sense.
How many years will
pizza?
Yeah, it's lasagna, Tony.
It's pizza.
It's lasagna, Tony.
It's pizza.
That was Man United. Pizzagate.
Pizzagate.
It's all Italian food. Who cares?
Gary, put some manners on him, will you?
I can't control him. He's crazy. Sorry.
Gary, I don't think we need to send lasagna or pizza to Leicester City on Sunday. I think Leicester City are going to be just fine without any help at all.
Well, think about this. We've given so many presents all year. It's about time we get some of those. We get somebody to give us a present, right?
Yeah.
We've given so many presents this year. Can somebody, so far so good as far as getting a return on some of those presents, but we needed one more weekend, right? One more weekend. We need something good to happen, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot can happen. We are going to go live during the games, and I think there's going to be a lot of fun. All of the storylines, the top 4, what's going to happen in the Europa, the Grand Europa Conference League places will be decided. Let's get excited, Gary. Come on.
No. I mean, it better, Xhaka and El Neni and Holding if he's still on the team. They all can play in whatever countries they're gonna play. Let them go, and then when you play the home games, then maybe you put some of your better players in, right? More of your starters and stuff like that. But no travel. Xhaka should never get on a plane to go on a conference game.
No. As Melina said here, Saka has never gotten a rest too. Arteta's been overplaying him. It's something we have to address. He has to. We have to allow the rest of the parts of the team, coconut water, to help him. Yeah, let's get pumped, Ryan. So you can hear that grand music right now.
It,
The Conference League, here we come. But
but
I think
is it going to be Benny Hill music or like the circus? Which one is it? Because I don't think it's any of the ones you've heard before. I think.
Spurs getting the runs with Pizzagate, a very Spurs thing to do. LOL. But listen, more than Alonso, more than getting into the Conference League, it will be jumping above Tottenham. It will be taking over what the supposed balance of power in London. And we all knew London was red, right?
Of course, and we beat Chelsea. We didn't do well against West Ham. One of those games we actually drew against West Ham. So you're right. I think we have an edge over Tottenham over the London teams. So our North London is red, I guess. So
Yeah.
it may not be the best years we had, but technically against the London teams, we're doing pretty well. And it's pretty crazy how it worked out, right? So I guess it's wild to think about. We did well against London teams, but the other teams we just didn't do that great, especially in the first half of the year. So we got to take the positive where they are. I mean, it's a positive. Trying to look forward to next year, I guess.
And Gary, in what will probably have been, not probably, Arsenal's worst season in many, many years, we may, and I hate to count my chickens, but I can't see Tottenham winning at Leicester. So I'm going to just say right now, they're going to lose at Leicester. It'll be up to us to beat Brighton at home, which you can't be 100% confident in, but I can probably see us getting the win on Sunday.
Wait, you know what? It's on the road, right? For the
Tottenham.
Spuds, right? So,
Yep.
I mean, maybe
wow.
Harry Kane needs to show up for his next client, his next team. So he might actually come out and go crazy and go get 2 goals, 2 assists, or something ridiculous like that, just to say, you know what, I need to go. Who's going to pay me, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
But yeah, Leicester City plays a really good style of game when they're good, right? And they're home, and when they got to have fans.
And in a situation where they need to win and hope the Liverpool draw at home to Palace, who they've been playing the last game for Roy Hodgson. Everything's going to be up in the air. Everything's going to be up in the air. As Ryan says here, even if they tie, we could still get ahead of them. I mean, 60 points for them. We just need to beat Brighton. What could possibly go wrong? Exactly.
You know what could go wrong? Say
Lego
it.
binary.
There you go.
We
That's
could go
what
into Gary. We could go into the 95th minute, and I won one.
I can see. I can see Lego Head resting players. Saving them for the Euros.
Please, no. Please.
He's like Saka, Tierney. Partey. Even though Partey doesn't play in the Euros, he's just gonna rest him.
So
Finally, Balogun out there.
Tony, in order to get us to 7th place, not only do we have to jump over the Spuds, which I think we've sorted that out. We're going to beat Brighton, no problem. Spuds are going to lose 5-0 to Leicester. Everton have to go away to Manchester City. How do you see that going? City could be resting a lot of their players. A week later, they're going to be in the Champions League final.
Yeah, City seems to have all their eyes on the Champions League, so you really don't know what's going to happen there. I wouldn't be surprised if Everton win. Of course, Everton's been playing shit lately, so they can shit the bed again and lose. You don't know. Yeah. That's why you tune in and watch Sunday and see our live reactions.
Come and join us. It is going to be a lively day. You don't know what's going to happen. Alonso, Gary, it's very possible. We need we need 3 results to go our way. We need to beat Brighton. We need Everton and Spurs to lose or draw.
Yeah, we need too much. We need too much to go.
Do you think it's too much?
We need too much to go right for us. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, we kind of wanted West Ham to lose, and we didn't get that, so that one's off the table now.
Well,
And,
yeah, I
and you
didn't
never
think
get
West Ham.
everything you want, right?
Yeah.
There's always that one thing you don't get. So you know what? They could all lose, and then we could not do what we need to do either. So
Yeah,
we
we need 3 results, Alonso, to go our way. And as Gary said, want to shout out to Charlie and the West Ham fans. Really happy for them that they did it this season. They deserve it. It would have been harsh if they slid back down out of even the Europa League spot. So fair play to West Ham. I just hope that we can get these 3 results we need on Sunday. Alonso.
Yeah, and it'd be funny because they didn't go back pace for Brighton, and it'd be so Arsenal if he scores, right? But that being said, yeah, I mean we need Everton to lose and of course the Scum to lose too, which is all possible because, like Tony said, Everton's been not playing that great and losing games to as well as Spurs have just totally bottled it as usual. And Gary also said that, Harry Kane may go wild and he may want to impress. So that's also scary. So, you never know what could happen. So that's why it's so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, exactly.
We've gotten surprised. We get surprised every weekend, every match day. Right? We get surprised. I mean, personally, I like to get surprised where, like, El Nenny's not playing. Ceballos, of course, isn't playing. Maybe Xhaka doesn't play.
That won't happen, Gary.
Bellerin isn't playing. I mean,
that's one constant of Lego binary. Xhaka plays.
So, Stefan, we will be doing the live. We may even be doing a pre-game podcast where we're going to highlight the last lineup of Arteta for the season.
Wow.
Yeah, we're gonna roll it all out, Gary. And we'll be doing the live on Sunday. I don't know how it's gonna be. Maybe we're all gonna watch different games, or we're gonna watch the Arsenal game. Maybe the Arsenal game is the one we wanna keep tabs on, Alonso, because that could be the one that's gonna keep us in doubt for the longest amount of time.
Maybe we watch all 10 games at once.
Is your name Alonso?
Yeah.
Wow.
Just kidding.
Yeah, so I mean, of course, when these results or the points get so close, then we have anxiety, right? Because what if Miguel Arteta does Lego binary does pick the teams like Senzo Arteta, right? Like Willian, Xhaka, Bellerin, all these characters that had let us down, and he plays them. It'd be so like him to do so. And we need a proper team that's not going to be afraid to take chances because he'll mess it up. And we don't want to be like Spurs, right? We bottle drop the final day of the season. They got to go after it like it's a league final, or a Europa League final, which is unfair, but it's reality. So they got to go at it like it's the last game of the season, like it's the final.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I put this caption up here for Ryan, since you joined us tonight, and I do not disrespect El Neni. I don't know, was it Tony who did that in the last few minutes? You look at this caption here, with El Neni in the team over 22 games, he has been responsible for 44 points from 66 possible. That's 2 points a game. Partey doesn't get that 2 points per game. Ceballos definitely doesn't, and Granit Xhaka doesn't either. So, that stat, you can make stats look whatever way you want, but Elneny is valuable to the Arsenal team. He's not flashy. I think, as Gary said earlier, gives you that level of security, quality of work, and I think he really plays well to get the ball back for his side. It keeps.
I mean, I think Partey hasn't been healthy, and then like you said, his window is small between the good and bad. Ceballos, his window is really big between the good and bad. Xhaka just gets to play a lot, right? I mean,
And Xhaka just plays a lot.
I mean, well,
He's just
Xhaka,
there.
his window is pretty big too, right? Because he can get you a red card. He can put a ball into,
Yeah,
off
that
of
kind
a
of way.
striker. He can do that, right? So the win. He's probably like a Ceballos basically, but with more games, right? So that's what I see there. All right. So those two, are similar in that respects, right? Partey, I feel like is the reason. I think the midfield plays better since Partey has been playing because now they know exactly how the style of play that I think Arteta wants. He's just not healthy, right? So Partey in or out of the game. I think it's Partey in the practice at least. I think does good for us. You always talk about like that leadership, right? I think he brings some leadership to the midfield that we didn't have before. Because if we didn't have Partey, where do you think we would be right now?
Yeah, we would be in. Yeah, we would be probably 10 points worse off.
Yeah,
5 to 10 points worse off. I mean, what do you think, Tony?
Not good enough.
not good enough. That's not a number. Give me a number.
Oh, he hasn't been fit all season.
No.
That's
If we
not
had
what I
fit-
asked you.
How many points would be worse off without Partey, Tony?
This season,
Yeah.
No, next season when he's
probably
out for
6 or
10
8.
games.
probably 6 to 8. It's been a shit season.
Let's
6 to
we'll
8.
move on.
What's going on, dude?
6 to 8.
It's his first season with Arsenal. What do you mean which season?
No, I'm not drunk off 2 beers, right?
Tony, wake
Listen,
up, Tony. Come on, man. Speak up.
To defend Tony, you were at the doctor's at the ER or something.
He
Did they
was
give you
cursing at
something?
us 5 minutes ago. Now you're saying that he's not got it all? Come on. Which one is it?
Did you take something strong, Tony?
It is
Nope.
morphine.
Just 2 beers. Just 2 beers.
All right, real quick, we're gonna go around the house here. Alonso, we're gonna get into the Premier League preview and shock choice. So we previewed some of these games already. Leicester versus Tottenham. What's gonna happen?
Yeah, so I think Tottenham, Leicester are on that FA Cup high still. And I think Vardy is slowly coming back to hopefully his theatrics. I think he could score a goal today, Sunday. And so, yeah, I think Leicester have it all. I think figure it out. I think Brendan Rodgers has been playing well. I think, like Gary said, that they have a good style of football on their day. And I think it'll be on Sunday. I think they'll win. I think they'll beat Spurs.
They better win because the whole master plan depends on Tottenham losing 5-1 or something like that. Leicester won the FA Cup. Fair play to them. I was happy to see them. Happy to see the owner be involved. It's something that we would wish for our own ownership, Gary. And I really, really hope Leicester. They need to get back involved in the top 4 here race, and that means a win against Tottenham. So 5-1 to Leicester for me.
Yeah. I'm looking for that. Yeah, I want Leicester to punish, to put the game out of reach early. I don't want any stress. Right? I don't want any stress, right? Vardy gets a Vardy hat trick in the first half, and then then they just run away with it, right?
Yeah, I don't know if Vardy is the player that he used to be.
It doesn't matter. This is the Spuds. Reguilon could probably put 3 goals in himself. Come on.
Ray Anderson 5-1 because the year Leicester won the league, Tottenham went to Newcastle and lost 5-1 on the last day of the season, and made Arsenal look better by slipping into second place as a consequence of that result. But that's why I say 5-1. Tony?
Leicester's kind of shit the bed in the league lately. I see it as a draw.
Oh, come on, Tony.
Well,
Hey,
a draw's okay, right?
Draw's okay as long as we do the business.
We have to win anyways. We can't really.
One of us has to be realistic.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. You're the ref.
5-1,
You're the
man.
realist. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have a mop on my head.
Oh no,
All right.
no, he went there. He went there, Ray.
I'm gonna skip around. Tony, you're next. City versus Everton.
Well, you're just pulling these out in weird order, aren't you?
Skipping around, yeah.
Like I said, City's got all their eyes on
Oh God, here we
the
go.
Champions League. Probably. I don't know if Everton's gonna win it or not. Who cares? It's a draw.
And have all four of you picked out your upset pick as well,
No.
right?
No.
Okay. Well, it's going to be the cup as well. It's Tony and I are in the final, and Gary and Alonso are third and fourth place playoff. So
Okay.
both of your picks will go towards the league format and the cup format. So
All right.
Alonso, City versus Everton. City are going to whack them, right?
Of course. 5-1. Yeah, no. I didn't.
I'll take 2-0.
I think 2-0. I think that I think Pep finally understands now what it takes to how to build up to a Champions League final, and I think regardless, I think he will still want them to play well on Sunday. And also, it's Aguero's last game, league game as a player of Manchester City. So I think he still has something to prove there, right? So I think he'll want to go out a winner as well. So I think he'll make a difference in that game. Aguero will. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think Aguero will find himself into the Champions League final, despite that Panenka penalty that he did against Chelsea in that game. I think 2-0. Gary, what do you think? 2-0 to City for me.
I'm thinking because you guys are saying we're going to be resting players that it won't be that clear cut, So I'm thinking 2-1, but City wins it. And like you said, if they say they go to the bench, they go to Aguero, right? Like you said, he's going to want to go out on a high. So
yeah, you will probably have City players who want to impress and get into the side for the Champions League final. So it's a double-edged sword whether they all turn up or not. Okay, so Gary, I'll stay with you for the next one. Let's go to Arsenal and Brighton.
Ugh.
This will be the big game, and
This is my upset. This is my upset pick.
You're serious?
See, the fact that you even had to ask that question, Ray.
What's in the box?
No, he's joking.
What's in the box?
It's clear
what are you
liquid,
drinking?
man. This is a clear no.
Vodka? Vodka is a clear liquid.
Coconut milk and vodka.
No, you know what? There is no way. Well, we're not losing because because we know Martinelli is going to come on, right? We know Martinelli is going to come on if he doesn't start, and he's going to do something. He should start, but we know he's
probably not. Gary. Everything's out the window.
Oh no! You know what? And you know what? That means Pepe's not going to play either, right? Because he scored 2 goals, and we can't have him trending upwards and maybe scoring another one. Right?
Yeah, you're right. He's got to give some games to people who haven't played, Gary.
That's right.
He's getting a start, Gary.
That's right. So Marie's
maybe
going to play.
Some players are going to leave.
Cedric has to play, right? Because he hasn't played in forever.
William.
Bellerin Swan Song.
Oh my! Oh, see, that's what's scary about it. That's like 3 subs right there, right?
It can't be. It can't be, Gary.
Hey, you've got to release.
No, we gotta win. We're winning this 3-1.
Yeah,
come on, Gary. It's your upset pick.
Shut it. You actually believed me.
No, I didn't believe him. I was incredulous.
You looked a little suspicious there.
I just wondered what the fuck's in your box.
I was thinking you were hedging your bets. You want to be happy if you're wrong because we get the win. You know what I mean?
No way. When's the last time I bet that we're going to lose?
All right, Tony. Arsenal home to Brighton on Sunday.
Who knows with Lego binary? We should win. Right. Will we win? Who knows? We'll find out Sunday. But
I'm asking you. You're a panelist. You should have an opinion.
My opinion
knows?
is who for fuck knows with Lego binary.
Yeah,
You
there you go.
answer the question.
We'll win.
The man from Oklahoma,
next
please
game.
answer the question.
We'll win. Next game.
All right. Lumbercamp might have to put a fiver on the Spuds and Everton losing and Arsenal winning.
I might
Could be
do
a draw. There could be a draw somewhere in there, which would be still okay for
that.
us. You know. Gary, you had something?
No, I said I might have to do that too.
Yeah. Alonso, Arsenal, Brighton.
Arsenal win. 3-1.
3-1. I like the confidence. Let's do that nice and early. Let's have Leicester beat Tottenham nice and early. And, City the same. All right. Alonso, Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Man United.
Oh wow. I
It's
think
fine.
Did Alonso drop out?
I think it'll be I think Manchester United gonna win 2-0.
Okay. And let me know if it's your upset pick in any way, shape, or form here.
Okay.
I have two. I'm gonna go first. Actually, are you gonna match what I do, Gary, or should you go first?
No, I
You're
shouldn't go
upset.
first
How does it matter? Me and you are in the final.
now I understand what's going on here.
Gary's not in the final.
Ray miraculously made a comeback in this pick'em thing. Miraculously.
I want to see the books on that.
It happened.
Yeah.
It happened in real time, Gary.
You know what? Just like I don't believe Arteta planned any of this, I'm suspicious about this whole comeback of yours. Down 18 points, and all of a sudden now it's 5. I don't know.
Well, Gary, I was in Sam's place 2 months ago, and I overlapped him and Tony.
I was at 26 points 2 months ago, and I picked Leeds to win like 3 times and won, and I'm still at 33 points. So go figure.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just saying. I'm not the one with the books in my hand and the eraser. I'm just saying. I don't know.
All right, Gary. Since there's 5 points between us, I'll go first. But
you should go first because you're the one.
You're not
you can't
Gary.
pick the same one. You can't pick the same one as me.
I can't pick the same one as you.
That would be too strategic.
What have you've been doing the exact opposite this whole time. At least the last 3 weeks when I had a big lead. So now all of a sudden we want to change the rules. You're like VAR.
All right. So anyway, I think Man United will beat Wolves. Gary?
Yeah, I was looking at this one, but I can't see Wolves beating them. I think Man United has too many.
Yeah,
too many. I think the squad is too, they could go to their bench and still win this. So, I mean, Cavani's probably going to, is he going to play? I think they have enough time. They have more than a week before they play, right?
Wednesday.
Oh, they play on Wednesday, so they're not on. So
could have been us. We should have been there.
Yeah.
26th.
So I thought about this as my upset special as well, but it's the same because Wolves were such a good team last year, and somehow they lost their pizzazz. They lost some players in the offseason. They lost Diego to Liverpool, and they lost
Jota. Yeah.
Yeah, and they lost the Doherty to the Spurs. So they lost some key players. So that's they're not as good as they were last year, and it's a shame because Wolves are a well-coached team.
Yeah. Tony, Wolves versus Man United.
It's gonna be a draw or a win for the Wolves.
Okay, but it's not your upset. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Tony's going for Wolves. Okay. Tony, West Ham versus Southampton.
Damn, you're jumping around. Hold on, let me.
Come on, Tony, pay attention.
Do you have to ask who's gonna win that one, Ray?
West Ham versus Southampton. You
Yeah,
think West Ham will win?
I
right?
think we know West Ham's gonna win it.
Okay. Alonso?
Uh, I think West Ham's gonna win it.
Okay. Gary, West Ham versus Southampton.
Yeah, I can't see Southampton beating West Ham. Nope. So yeah, no upset there.
Okay. Yeah, I think West Ham will probably win that game. Gary, Sheffield United versus Burnley.
Give
Well,
my answer, Gary. Who gives a shit? Next
yeah,
game.
there you go. My
I would think-
spokesman has spoken.
Sheffield United, Burnley, nothing game. Move
Nothing
on,
game,
right?
So yeah.
Move on. Alonso, we'll just skip over that one, right? Alonso, Fulham versus Newcastle.
I think Newcastle. I think Jolick will score again. I think me 2-0 to Newcastle.
Gary, Newcastle, Fulham.
Yeah, Willock needs to improve his worth, right? So yeah, he might score 2 goals. Finish off the season in style.
And Tony, Newcastle, Fulham.
Newcastle.
All right, Tony, Leeds versus West Brom.
Leeds.
All right, Alonso, let's have it. West Brom.
He's not there
Last
anymore.
one of the season.
So Karen Gibbs, right?
He's
he
in
tells-
Miami.
He tells Ainsley Niles to somehow score a goal, and boom, there you go. West Brom my upset special.
Gary, Leeds versus West Brom.
Wow. Wow. I'm going to say
Did I say something?
I'm going to say yeah. I guess I'm going to go. I'm going to say bad Leeds.
Bad Leeds.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Wait, you have to go
Leeds.
first. What am I going first for? You trying to no, Ray? Go on. You try to trick me there. Hit it. Let's do it. Ray, you're supposed to go first.
All right, I'm going to take West Brom to beat Leeds. This is going to be my upset pick.
That's why I was saying bad Leeds because I feel like I'm
putting it all in there. I'm going to win the cup versus Tony in this match. I'm going to get the points I need to get past you. A 5-point difference there.
How are you going to do that if we pick the same game? This is a.
I mean, you could do that, but that would be controversial.
Let
No one is
go.
controversial.
Unsporting
You
of you.
teach people when they say Salhurst Park and write it down when you say it's
It'll
okay.
be unsporting of you. And if anyone's confused about what we're doing, we've been picking an upset challenge. We'll be doing an upset challenge all through the season. And these are the points. Gary's on 65, Ray's on 60, Alonso 39.5, Tony's 33, and so on. We're doing the difference in the league position. If it's a win, you get all of the points. If it's a draw, it is half of the points difference, the league position difference. So this is where we're at. And Gary has to choose whether he's going to be strategic or sporting.
I don't know what strategic. I guess is what you're saying, right? So it's just this is like playing Jeopardy and just betting $1, right?
Yep. Bet $1.
I'm betting $1.
On what?
Where's Brom, you dumb fuck?
West Brom.
Jesus, Tony. God.
Taking West Brom.
Yes.
He's
Leads,
playing
bad
chess.
leads, bad leads.
Okay, we have to do a tiebreaker.
We don't have to do a tiebreaker.
Why would I do a tiebreak when I'm winning?
All right.
You
deserve it,
like
Gary,
I said,
you
you're
deserve it.
VAR. You're
Well,
VAR.
he's 5 points ahead. How do you do a tiebreaker?
You deserve it, but the rules should be. We'll amend the rules for next season. I don't know how to do it. The leader
You
has to
already
go
amended
first.
the rules by gaining about 30 points.
Amending
I
the
know
rules is
exactly.
the leader.
That's what you guys. He did something sneaky. I know he did.
Ray had like 9 points, and he's like at 45 now.
I know exactly. How does that happen?
All right, let's just finish it out, Gary. Aston Villa versus Chelsea.
Ray
Yeah,
used Lego
I looked at this one
binary
as
to come
well.
up
I
with
think
his math on his point total.
Okay, Gary.
I think Chelsea's going to win this. Yeah. Well,
This
once
was
again,
one,
Chelsea's like United. They just have too much talent. There's no way. They go to their bench and they still have better talent than Villa.
This is one that I possibly would have picked for, but you followed my choice, which was the strategic way to do it, not the
You
sporting
can always
way to do it.
change, Ray. It's not set in stone.
I can change my mind.
Yeah.
All right, I'll go for Villa against Chelsea then. I changed my mind because I have to.
I should change my mind, but nah. That's 8
Well,
points. You know what? That's 8 points, so a draw, and you still lose. So
yeah, I have to get the win there. I have to get the win. Okay, Alonso, Aston Villa versus Chelsea. Tell me Villa could do it, please.
They're gonna do it. I think with Chelsea, right? You have Hurwitz and you have Warner, and even Jilic, who hasn't worked out for them, right? So, in my opinion, they've been a very disappointing team to me this year, right? Because they have all the talent, but they haven't made that huge leap, right? So
They're in the Champions League final.
okay, easy, calm down, all right, Tony.
Yeah, they're gonna win it.
But in the league, it's different. So it's weird how it worked
Top
out.
4.
All right, Tony, let him have his say.
I just said a draw.
Okay. All right. Last one, Gary. Liverpool versus Palace.
You forgot me, Ray.
It's so easy to forget you. So easy.
you can't.
But it wouldn't be a podcast.
You
if he wasn't
can't
yelling at me.
upset Lonzo, Tony. When you do that, you lose your place.
Use
So
your
be
turn.
nice.
Yeah,
So you lose your
Chelsea's had
turn.
a real shit season. They're in the Champions League final in the top 4. They're just horrible.
Tony, would it be a good if you're a Chelsea fan? Would it be a good season to be in 2 finals, lose both of them, and drop out of top 4? Would you be happy?
I'd be happier than where we're at.
After spending 200 million, would you be happy losing 2 finals and dropping out of top 4?
They're competing, aren't they?
So you know what, we're competing too. So obviously you like both squads, right?
We're in a final. We're in a
No,
final.
we're competing, man. We're competing for Conference League.
We're in the final in the top 4.
We're trying to win 5 in a row. We're competing.
We're in a race for the top 4 and then 2 finals.
All right,
Top 7, man. Top
we don't
7.
need to go to Liverpool Palace. I would just let's do this, Gary. 2 teams from 3 in the top 4. Who do you want in there? Liverpool, Chelsea, or Leicester? Which 2 do you want in the top 4?
It's Leicester, I
Just
guess.
your personal bias or your personal opinion.
I don't care, but I guess Leicester and
Who do you want? Who do you want out of the top four?
out of the top four.
Liverpool, Chelsea, or Leicester?
Guess I want Chelsea out.
Are you sure?
I don't. You know what?
You don't sound very sure there, Gary.
I'm not. I don't really like other teams.
Yeah.
So I want them
Look
all to
into your
feel. I
box.
want
Yeah.
them
Who do
all
you
to
hate
feel
the most?
pain. I want
What
them
does
all
your
to feel
box
pain.
tell you?
I mean, I want them. I want the.
Tony is a closet Chelsea supporter, so he's not going to pick Chelsea. Tony, who do you want out of the top four?
Liverpool.
I knew it. He's a closet Chelsea supporter. Alonso, who do you want out of the top four?
Chelsea.
Chelsea. Me too. I agree with that. Yeah, to drop out, Ray Anderson. Drop out. Who do you want to drop out on the final day? Leicester, Liverpool, or Chelsea? Well, listen, we should round it up. We've been here 2 3/4 hours. It's been a long podcast. Real quick, Gary, I'll go around on everyone here. Do you want to be in a shitty Europa competition next season or not?
I think we need to, and I know it doesn't sound like we need to, but I feel like we need to if we're planning to grow and get better. I mean, I just have this feeling that if we're not in it, we're just not going to see the growth we need from the squad.
Mm-hmm.
So Arteta is going to find a way not to play certain players. He's finding ways not to play players now, and we had European games. So imagine you take away like 15 potential games, and then say, you know what, I need you to still build a squad for the future. I don't think he knows how to do that.
Plus, we've seen what it looks like next season if we're not in Europe. 7 days of preparation, did that really help us? We won the game, but it didn't feel like we won. We're comfortable winning that game against Crystal Palace.
It's hard to say we weren't clinical because we didn't get any opportunities. So whatever plan we had, it wasn't working.
Yeah.
It was like you said, it was individual moments of brilliance that got us the 2 goals that we got.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't have to use that, but it's there in our back pocket whenever we got it, right? So
Tony, same question to you. Want to be in Europe next season, and pros and cons real quick.
I don't want to be in Europa Conference League. I want to be playing in Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but we have to be in Europa. We have to be giving the youth a chance. So, of course, we have to be in Europe, even though it's a shit competition no one of us give a fuck about.
Yeah. Listen, as Sam said, I'm going to represent Sam a little bit. He said, we have a stature. We're Arsenal. We need to be in Europe every season. It's a shitty, mediocre competition, but it's going to be a breeding ground for the young players. And I thought this season would be more of a season for betting in young players and getting them used to the setup. Hasn't happened so much this season, and we need it to happen. I would like us to get into Europe on Sunday. It would be mad if we have Tottenham losing, Everton losing, and ourselves obviously winning against a very, very good, decent Brighton team. Alonso,
You're winning, Dre. If I ever can lose.
Alonso, headlines could be Danny Welbeck comes back and hurts us. Harry Kane scores a hat trick to seal a big money transfer in the summer, and Ancelotti could get the win that they need to get into Europe. So there's going to be a lot of storylines on Sunday, Alonso.
Yeah, and William scored 4 goals, right?
Arsenal Luchadors coming out.
Okay.
Bellerin and William will score on Sunday.
Yeah, and Xhaka has like a red card, right? I think that it's important for our team to be in Europa League or Europa Conference League, and we have a lot of good youngsters that need first team playing time, like Aziz and Balogun and others. So yeah, I mean it's a launching pad for those young players to see those games, and hopefully Arteta will give Onene the captain's armband during those games because I think he works for the young players as is Lacazette, but Lacazette's future is kind of up in the air with Arsenal right now. So yeah, it's important to be in Europe. I think that we need that launching pad for youngsters. I think it'll help out in the future as well.
Yeah. Listen, anyone want to throw in final words here? We said all we need to in
I think
3
we
hours,
have.
right, Gary?
We said a lot. No, I think season's almost over. We're all happy. We're kind of happy it is. We're sad it is. There's a lot going on in that. I mean, in that game. I mean, it's game right. It's us trying to get into 7th. There's teams trying to get into the top 4. Right. I mean, this is what these weekends are supposed to be like, right? I mean, we don't have a relegation battle to worry about, but you've got a lot of positions move, a lot of movement in those in that 3rd to 7th, or it's a 3rd to 8th spot, right? So
And
should be a good watch.
Should be a good watch on Sunday. Hopefully,
Or a good watch along.
Watch along. Do join us. We're going to be doing everything live, and I want to just
Everything
highlight.
live? I don't think we want to do that, right?
Not everything live. Lumber Camp. This is a good point. I want Chelsea to drop out because of Giroud. I'll probably have to pour bleach in my eyes if I see him lift the Champions League trophy. And Alonso, I think we've been lucky this season so far. We have obviously underperformed, and we are in a bad way. And all we can do is stand by while other teams are lifting trophies. Unfortunately, it has been the lesser of two evils so far. We have Manchester City win the league, which is, as an Arsenal fan, it's not the worst thing in the world. We have Leicester beating Chelsea, which was the lesser of two evils. Definitely would prefer Leicester to win the FA Cup over Chelsea. We want the same thing to happen for Chelsea to lose against City, and obviously maybe Chelsea get dumped out of the top 4 as well, Alonso, on Sunday.
Yeah, and it's funny because you also said that Chelsea are also ballers, right? Because they haven't come through in the clutch when they need to win big games, and so yeah, I mean, seeing them go out in the top 4 is really pretty funny, considering that how much money they spent in the past year to improve their team, and unfortunately, we have we have 2 former Chelsea players, and Luis and William that may not be here next year. So it's funny how it works out,
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to give Tony the last word here. Tony, you get the last word. Get to say literally anything you want.
The best thing this season's over. We have a whole summer to decipher what Lego binary is. But to me, hopefully next year we get to see the young players. We didn't get to see them any this season. Hopefully we see Saliba come back, see what he has to offer. I still think he gets sold this summer and we go for somebody else. Yeah, but I'm just happy to be here. Happy not to have a hook. Ready to take some antibiotics. Ready to cook dinner so Ray doesn't bitch at me for not eating.
Yeah, you better go get something to eat. You're supposed to eat before you come on the podcast. You know that.
I was busy getting antibiotics and other shit.
Right. Okay. Listen, we'll sort something out for Sunday. We will be here, and we'll figure out what's going to happen. It's going to be eventful, Gary.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait for the weekend to come. Like I said, I want to see.
No more Zaka. Hopefully, it's Zaka's last game.
It could be a lot. It'd be nice if it was like
Zaka.
the last game's for like 10 Arsenal players, but I think it's probably going to only be 5. So
Lots of swan songs.
yeah,
Yep.
well, I like to see us go offensive, right? At some point, just say, you know what, we're going to have to go offensive here and pull out some of our defensive players because we need to score. So
Martinelli in goal. Saka's left back.
okay, you're going a little crazy there.
And listen, we will have the season will end on Sunday for us. Unfortunately, we're going to feel the pain. The next Thursday, we're going to be talking about. Hopefully, I really want to be talking about. We're talking about lesser of two evils. Well, let's take that to the Europa League final and get Unai Emery the trophy. Let him take it. I got to say one good thing about Unai Emery. Very, very decent coach, very decent man. He didn't take the opportunity to stick the dagger in Arsenal. He could have had every opportunity to do that after beating us over 2 legs. We were not good enough.
He just has 2 women in 2 countries.
He what?
He has 2 women in 2 countries.
And 5 trophies. I think he's won the Europa League 5 times as well. So, yeah. But Unai Emery, got to say,
7th trip there.
as much as you want to not like him, you can't hate him. And I would much prefer him, Alonso, winning the trophy rather than Manchester United. It's going to be, if Villarreal win that game, we're going to feel like it should have been us. And if United win it, we're going to feel terrible.
So basically, it's going to be a terrible,
bittersweet. Yeah, bitter.
Kill either way.
All right, listen, Gary, thanks for being here from the start. You were here even before I came into the studio. So
I was outside, stuck and locked outside, banging on the window, like, let me in. And you're pulling up in the car, taking a phone call.
So you're getting paid double time tonight, and
Tony was pushing the car.
The other 2 are charged late fees for being late. But
I had an excuse.
Thanks for joining, Tony and Alonso. Want to give you all a shout out. I want to give Tony a shout out. It's been a long old season, and it'll be emotional on Sunday, right?
Let's see who picked Man City to win and Lacazette to score more goals. Let's figure out who that was.
Yes, indeed. Lombard Camp, if City and Villarreal win, we can breathe a sigh of relief and write the season off. Yeah, and hope that we get better over the summer. Well, listen, I want to give everyone a shout out who has been on the panel with me this year. Tony, Alonso, and Gary's come on board this year. It's been a brilliant year. Lots of great discussion. Lots of
Gary hasn't been to Chile yet.
I haven't been what?
In Chile. Chile.
I haven't got there yet. No.
Okay.
No South American debut for you.
And listen, I want to give a shout out to everyone who's in the chat section. It's crazy hour in the UK right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
Stefan's
Stefan's always here.
Thanks, Ray Anderson.
440.
Ray. I think we saw
you guys are here, we'll be here.
We saw Stan earlier today.
Petro life mate Stephen.
Yeah. Ryan. Miss Melina. She's probably it's almost midnight. She's probably sleeping.
And
Steven Denham.
Steve Denham,
Tony,
Stefan,
this guy
Ray
Tony's
Anderson,
always in our
chat.
I don't know where that Tony guy comes from.
Yeah.
Tony Turner.
Mark Mertz.
A heckler.
Yeah. We had a lot of
Ryan was back in.
I'll get it.
So yeah, thank you to everyone for showing up. One more time before the season's over.
We're gonna close it out. We'll see you on Sunday.
No Pepsi sponsorship tonight. I'm disappointed.
Let's see the Pepsi sponsorship, Alonso.
I bought some, but yeah.
All right,
he's not showing it.
This has been a bad season. It's been some horrible records that we're breaking. There hasn't been a lot of good stuff.
At least we got a leg in the fight.
We could salvage something from the Flames if Tottenham lose 5-1. Everton lose 2-0. And Arsenal win 3-1.
We don't have two legs in a fight. We only have one leg in a fight, like me.
We're out of here. Thanks for watching, everyone. Slap a
Bye,
like on your way.
everyone.
Slap a like on the way out. And thanks for watching. We'll see you Sunday.
Let's see.